live. We're direct. It's happening. It's good to see you. It's popping in here. The Atrioc chat room. It's where the culture of the world connects. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Socratic seminar with the brightest minds across the world. You look like an absolute mess. What is... My hair's a little... I'm playing basketball. My hair's a little messy. What? Relax, folks. Okay, you definitely do not need to spam that your trip to Mexico got canceled. You just don't... I'm covering it today. You think I don't know? I have to... You got... Say it one more time in your ban. If you really wanted me to know, I gotta ban you. The cartels aren't honoring my Marriott Platinum membership. That's their loss. That's their loss, okay? Because the Marriott Platinum membership signifies a certain level of class, certain level of quality of an individual. And if they're not going to recognize it, you should sue them is what you should do. I think that's what you should do. You should sue the cartels. Wait, I need to turn the air on because it is already scorching hot in here. Good to see you. My God, we have a lot to cover today. I'm late. Did I miss everything? Yeah, we covered the thing you wanted, but now we're doing everything else. Watch this. It's peak. Like a Rickroll or something. We already watched this. It's the Dow song. We watched it many times. If I had a button, I'd put it on there. How is the Dow? Is Aiden going to Mexico to do in-person interviews with the cartels? Yes. For tomorrow's Lemonade Stand, we sent Aiden on a crash course mission into the heart of Juarez. To just sort of start asking questions about the drug cartels. Just start poking around, asking questions. And we're gonna get some on the ground journalism. Brave soldier on the front lines. I guess he is. Good to see you. Good to see you. I do love to watch a white boy speak some Spanish. Well, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna speak Swedish at him. Try and diffuse the situation. And if something were to happen to him, well, then at least we have a backup. You know what I'm saying? We've got a backup host. Hey, watch this on my Fire Stick TV, chatting on my phone, ready for a good stream. You don't have to update me. I don't need an update on how many screens you have open. I appreciate you ready for a good screen. I don't need... I guess being watched on a Fire Stick TV is kind of a big deal. Being watched on TV is certainly... if I'm on a big screen, that's an honor. I'll take that. Big screen privilege, usually reserved for Netflix shows you aren't watching. I'm watching it on the Roku. Oh, on the Roku? Damn, bro. We managed the Roku. Rejuve, thank you for the Prime. 46 months. What's up, my dog? Looking healthy and well rested. Thank you. I am well rested. Although, again, I keep getting texts from fucking Chudwig. This isn't going to leak his... He keeps texting me a picture. Here, I'm just going to send it to you. Because I'm not showing anything. Here's his ugly feet. You want to see that? He keeps sending me pictures of him on a scale. And he goes, it'll take you years to catch up. I'm literally... He's 179.1. Here's my feet, by the way. I'm 179.2. We're literally 0.1 apart. And we keep we're the same pound weight. And we keep sending these pictures, and he keeps calling me fat. And then this morning, he sends me a picture of this and says, typical Atrioc breakfast. It's like an endless buffet that goes for miles. What the fuck is going on? What a piece of shit. I'm so close. He barely shows up to basketball, bro. I've been there. I'm getting a tan. I was out there fucking 3 hours hustling for boards. I was old guy in it by the last game. I was like, this is me. You know, I'm at the end of the court. My hands on my knees playing defense. Like, I'm not doing this, dude. I'm like, just go by. And then, you know, if I wasn't hustling. I wasn't running. I was dead. But that was hours in, bro. What are you going to expect from me? Anyway, good to see you all. Good to see you all. Basketball is too dangerous. Switch to pickleball. I don't want to switch to pickleball. I feel like switching to pickleball is giving up. I just feel like switching to pickleball is giving up. I'll switch to pickleball after LeBron retires, because then it's like, well, there goes my hope. Right now, I'm still on track to make the NBA. Okay? I'm still on track. Have you tried throwing yourself off a hill and rolling down all the way as a sport? Have you tried that? You threw yourself off a hill and rolled the way. I honestly think you'd build some toughness. I could see that working. I don't know if it's long-term good for the body, but curious if your opinion on Bitcoin has changed with the Ray Dalio tweet and how he talks about asset control. I haven't seen this particular Ray Dalio tweet you're talking about, but my opinion on Bitcoin has not changed. And in fact, I think it continues to collapse. In fact, I think all of crypto is in like a slow motion, perhaps medium speed motion collapse. The fraud is off the charts, bro. All these fucking stable coins. I call them unstable coins. Write that down. All these fucking stable coins. Bro, this morning, Eric Trump is deleting all his old crypto tweets as fucking his so-called stablecoin 1-to-1 to the US dollar comes depegged, and a bunch of insiders dump their fucking management token. It's all so stupid, bro. When you think about it, it's all so stupid. And corrupt. And like the whole purpose of this fucking so-called stablecoin is to just allow this slush fund that other foreign nationals can contribute to buy things from the Trump family. That's fucking stupid. It's so stupid. And the benefit to the average person is zero. There is no like utility. There's no reason for it to exist. It's like this one thing, which is like a unique little quirky idea of a cryptographic way of holding value, which has no real practical use case currently, has been turned into just a gigantic clusterfuck of fraud. And the benefits are so minuscule. I think it's crap, dude. I think it's crap. I'm super, super bearish, if you must know. Maybe it'll go up to 500K tomorrow, but I'd still be bearish. I still wouldn't believe in it until I see any real world use cases. Fartcoin is holding up surprisingly well, only down 95% from the top. Well, yeah, like I always say, Fartcoin's a blue chip, folks. Fartcoin's for the future. You want Fartcoin for your grandchildren. You want it, you know what I'm saying? That's one you hold. That one has utility. But outside of that, Ethereum has smart contract. I've heard all the smart contracts nonsense. Here's the thing about contracts. The hard part of the contract is the trust and the enforcement. The hard part isn't like the mechanical part of doing it digitally. The hard part is like, hey, I showed up at this house that I bought digitally. and you're not leaving. Okay? How do I get you out? How do I, you know what I'm saying? That requires connection with the government, that requires banks, that requires contracts, that requires looping into the judicial system. That's where, you know what I'm saying? That is where contract enforcement is real. It's not the utility of fucking Ethereum digital contracts. I'm certain in some use cases there could be something for primarily digital goods, but it's honestly, it's like it's all overblown. Do you know what percent of crypto is coming from retail investors? Oh, you mean I don't know what percent right now is coming from retail. I do know the vast majority of a token like Bitcoin is owned by very, very few people. The vast majority, like almost all of Bitcoin, is owned by an extremely small number of hands. So, you know, everything else is trading at the margin. There was a big there's a big sale the other day too. A bunch of people dipped out. You're still going Trump 2028 and 2032, right? Yeah, of course. Of course. He's more than just a crypto president. You know what I'm saying? He's done so many good things. Like, I can overlook the obscene corruption in the crypto industry. Cross-border stablecoins are a legit lifesaver. Trying to be so there's something there. I'm not going to be a fucking. I call balls and strikes. Okay. There's the thing right now. If I have $10,000 and I want to send it to somebody in fucking Panama, and I have to do it through the normal banking system, the Swift banking system, there are a certain amount of fees. You know, I don't know what it is, 2.8, 3%, something like that. That'll be taken from me. And in a world where there's a cross-border stable coin, I can do that for like pennies. I can do that. I can $10,000, me to you, pennies. There's a value to that. There's something to that. But that is, you know, that is a marginal utility that has been turned into this, you know, billion, trillion dollar asset class filled with ripe fraud and speculation. Yo, bro, wait, Atrioc is Mog. What does that mean? Isto! Good to see you. I have not listened to the Baby Keem album yet. I look forward to it, though. I look forward to it. Atrioc, how do I go to the NVIDIA conference? Which one? Bro, I've been to a lot of NVIDIA conferences. I've heard it. I've heard it all, bro. I've heard the same shtick. Okay, Moore's Law is dead. And now you have to go to GPUs. I'll put on this app. Ishrak, have you watched the new Knight of Seven Kingdoms? Yes! And in fact, I want to say before we get into all this cartel stuff, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, a truly great season. A truly successful season one. They fucking did it, folks. Fun. Well acted. Hits you in the heart. Now, they've had a good season one before, so it really comes down to how they do season two. The thing I'm way more worried about is after they get 3 seasons done and they're done with the little short books, and this director is talking about, the showrunner's talking about how he wants to keep it going for 10 seasons. I can already predict the fall off. But for now, I have to give credit where it's due. This is a great return to form for Game of Thrones. It was very fun. Great TV, and kind of that, I feel like it's hitting the moment right now. It's got like a likable, heroic characters that you can root for. And I don't know, I thought it was just I think it was a good traditional hero story. I think people are looking for that. And so I don't know, I thought it was good. White boy with some motion. Yeah, sure. White boy with some motion. Not as much magic shit made it good. Yeah, for sure. I think Game of Thrones is at its best when the magic is really minimal, when it's mysterious. I think Game of Thrones is at its worst when it's well, there's a lot of reasons. Is that it's at its worst when the writing gets absolute shit. But also when there's like too many dragons, I think it's also shit. Too many CGI dragons. Nah, but you see the part. Well, I mean, listen, who has a better story than Bran the Broken? That's just a fire line. You know what I'm saying? What a brilliant piece of writing by the great showrunners. God, that was so. Hobbit clears, dude. I'm talking about The Hobbit essentially. The Hobbit I hate just as much. If you hate the Game of Thrones final season but love the Hobbit movies, shut up. They're the same. They're both fucking stupid. They're both dumb as shit that treat their audience like idiots. The difference is that The Hobbit was a bit silly too. A bit silly. The book, which is short, by the way, is a bit silly. But the movies are cartoonishly silly and dragged out to 6 hours. So it's not, God forbid there's some whimsy. Bro, God does forbid. If the reason I know that I'm an atheist and God is not real is because he didn't strike down Peter Jackson for creating that fucking river barrel scene. That is proof. He would have struck him down. That was better than all of Game of Thrones. That river barrel scene is so ass. It's so bad on so many levels. God, I hate it. TBF, Peter Jackson hated making that trilogy. Yeah, I'm sure he hated cashing those checks, bro. I'm sure Peter Jackson hated it so much as he fucking bought his 10th real estate property off the fucking proceeds. Oh, I can't possibly cash this. Better than Disney Star Wars? To me, it's not like you're like saying, oh, this dog shit's so much better than this cat shit. Like, sure, fine. Whatever. Maybe I haven't tasted both, but it's like, I don't care. They're bad. They're just bad, dude. They're bad movies. He gets so, anyway, yeah. How are you going to blame Peter Jackson for studio meddling? I didn't know Peter Jackson had diehard defenders for the Hobbit trilogy. So let me tell you very clearly. I don't care how much the studio meddled. He could have done it differently. There's no like the scenes themselves are bad. They're bad. The writing is bad. Like the extra stuff they added is all bad. It's bad. They're bad movies. They're like, watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy and watch The Hobbit and tell me that the same guy made it. He could have made a good film. He didn't care. He had the sway, the credibility. The Lord of the Rings trilogy made a boatload of money. The studio would have been like, okay, you're the director, you're the boss, do what you did again. He fucking was lazy. Will you? Honestly, the first two are pretty decent. I disagree. That's like when people say that Star Wars 7. Which one is that? What's the first one with Rey and Finn? What's that called? Force Awakens. People say Force Awakens, that's pretty decent. It's like, no, it's not really. it's like decent in that it doesn't actively fucking hurt me, but it's like just a carbon copy. It's just a carbon copy of A New Hope with more like, remember that? It's like bad. It's just a bad Like they could like the potential for what it could be and what it is. And if you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, which I love that trilogy. Ari and I just watched the final one, Return of the King. I don't know why we watched that one only, but we watched Return of the King again, and it's so great. It's so awesome. And then you watch The Hobbit, and it's like everything about this is a sloppy simulacrum. I'm sick just thinking about it. Hey, by the way, I guess it deserves to be said. Wait, have you seen the scene where Frodo forgets Legolas's name? Oh, well, actually, it reminds me. I do think, the movie is so good that it doesn't matter so much. But the Legolas parts in Return of the King are a little cartoonish as well. the Legolas and Gimli stuff is a little cartoonish as well. If I had my druthers, I'd cut down on that. All right, but they're more in moderation, and it's a big movie, so you're kind of swept up in it. It's funny, and Orlando Bloom is very hot. Well, checkmate. He would be hot regardless of the lines he's delivering, though, right? Like he could deliver serious lines that make sense in the scene and treat it with, you know what I'm saying? I think the reason I hate that type of shit, the barrel shit, the callback shit, is because as a viewer, when your characters start quipping in the middle of a serious battle, people are dying, whether you think of it consciously or not, you're like, oh, this is a joke. Like, nobody's gonna die here. There's no threat. Thank you for the gifties, by the way. I'm sorry. Open presents. Thank you for the 10 gifties. Like they just you become very aware that this is all to make people smile in a theater and not like Orlando Bloom could sweep you off your feet. Yeah. Have you seen the oh, it's so good. There's a British show called Extras. It's like maybe Ricky Gervais' first show or second show after The Office, British Office. And he has a bunch of stars on it, including there's an Orlando Bloom episode where he plays himself. Hilarious. I mean, truly, truly hilarious. Yeah, it's like from 2001 or something. It's an old show, but Ian McKellen, it is so funny. Who else is so funny in it? I think Sam Jackson is in it. Liam Neeson. No, Liam Neeson's not in it. Daniel Radcliffe is like right after he got famous in Harry Potter, and he's in it, and he plays like they all play themselves, but as assholes. Patrick Stewart, who is gay in real life, plays like an extreme horn dog pitching the worst, most sexual movie of all time. It was very fun. It was all very funny. It's a great. So it's British Entourage. It's nothing like Entourage, but it's funny to think of Britain. Oh, I'm sorry, he's not gay. I thought that was I guess he's not gay. Patrick Stewart isn't gay. Well, first of all, you guys don't know Patrick Stewart's love life. Maybe he is gay. Okay, you don't know what he's doing in his own time. We know that Ian McKellen is publicly gay. Maybe Patrick Stewart is gay. I do. Yeah, but you're a guy and you asked him out and he rejected you. So you said, oh, he's not gay. But he could still be gay. It means he wasn't interested in you. Okay? Just because you got rejected by Patrick Stewart doesn't mean he's not gay. At least he can be bi. It's a spectrum. I'm sorry. Hi, Atrioc. I once made a joke 3 years ago about Chris Pratt playing Mario in a movie of your life, and you read it out loud and liked it, and I've never forgotten. Thank you for changing my life. Ain't no problem, brother. Ain't no problem. And two for two, by the way. The story of it almost as funny as the original. It's funny people remember. I don't remember this at all. Check his chat history. If it'd be funny if his chat history was just him keep constantly telling this story. I lost him. I lost him in the shuffle. Anywho, what else did I want to talk about? I mean, we're gonna do the cartel stuff. I got a little presentation on the cartel stuff, which I think is interesting. And you know, there's talking about some crypto stuff. Talk about bunch of stocks taking more hits. You know, very briefly, the most. Listen, like every 6 days now, one of these AI companies puts out a press release saying they've made a new feature that does something, and then stocks go fucking wild. They like anybody in that industry tanks. Open presents. Thank you for the gift. Did you have a message? You said, hey, first time I caught you live. Question for you, why the Enron hat? That's a great question. The reason I wear the Enron hat is because I strongly believe in the mission and the corporate culture and the ethics of the company Enron. I try to like every day bring a little bit of that positivity and spirit that they brought to their corporate business dealings to my actions in real life. And if you want to try that out yourself, you can go to failedco's.co, where an entire different section of colorways is available for the Enron hat. A truly beautiful piece of merch. Great question. Thank you for asking. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So Anthropic, which is the Claude AI people, put out a feature that allows Claude to work in the COBOL programming language, which is apparently, you know, it's like an extremely old, arcane, not used since that fucking 80s language that like very few experts use. And it goes through IBM. IBM has like like a lot of old financial stuff is written in this. And so IBM makes huge money upcharging financial services by writing in COBOL. And AI can do it now, just like out of the blue, just boom. And IBM stock tanked like fucking 15, 20%. Oh, sorry. Did someone? Thank you. Open presents for the gifted. Well, you have one more message? Do you believe that? Do you believe what you just said? Okay. I appreciate the gifties. I feel like I'm in the beginning of a psychosis. I appreciate the gifties, but I'm feeling a line has to be drawn here. I'm very obviously being sincere. Okay. I'm never sarcastic on this stream, and I want you to know personally that I do believe what I just said. I stand by Enron and their values. And I want to make that 100% clear. I don't want there to be any doubt. I'm more of a hey Kiev dog 50 millimeter. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Hey Big A, I work for a massive YouTuber and I'm trying to think ahead. If the U.S. were to see a significant economic downturn, what do you think would happen to the creator economy? I can see ad rates being slashed, but do you think the increase in viewers from people cutting their subscriptions would make up for this difference? P.S. I was a 2% viewer on Big A and YouTube. It's my first chat. Thanks for the brain rock. It's a great question. I think you nailed it in that the immediate reactions to a downturn in the economy, which I think we have for people on the top 10%, outside the top 10%, would be marketers cutting their budgets, so you'd make less money on ads, but I don't think viewership would go anywhere. In fact, I think it would go up. That's my legitimate. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're a big creator, I guess it depends on their content, but I think they'd be fine. I think the biggest thing for creators is keeping their burn low. I think the only thing that can really wipe you out as a creator is if you hire 15 employees, build a fucking facility, launch 3 ventures, All that shit is what will fucking destroy you. You guys are saying the Ludwig, but Ludwig obviously has done so well that he bounced through that easily. But someone not as incredibly talented as Ludwig and successful on many platforms would be in trouble. I think you have to rank that up well. You just got to scale in line. I think that's the riskiest thing because, creator economies like this, like your fucking income. Open presents. Thank you for the gifties. Holy glaze. I just think, listen, I'm just glazing him because me and Aiden stole $3 million out of off-brand. We backdoored that out of there. And so, of course, we're going to thank Ludwig for the money. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's seed capital. Yeah, how do you think Lemonade Stand Studio got built? We didn't put the money up. That's straight out of off-brand, baby. A yoink. Yoink. Open presents. Did you have another message? You said that is not true. All right. Well, you got me. You got me. I guess you got me. I guess if you actually look over my past messages and statements, you might find disturbing evidence that I don't really support the business practices of Enron. Tough to say. Tough to find out like this. For the first time, someone saw my Enron merch and noticed. He was an old guy and said, "Where did you get that? It was a big mess." That's the point of the Enron merch, 90% of the time, is that some older person will be like, "Oh, that's funny," or they'll get it. Like I wore this hat. I've now worn an Enron hat for coming up on like fucking 15 years. That's crazy. I wore an Enron hat in college, bro, to finance classes, and then the teacher would be like, "That's funny." Yeah, I get it. So I've worn it on hat for a long time. It's like a little, it's a little signal that you get it. It's funny. I got it as a present from my dad, and every time he goes to the office, people comment on it. You bought your dad an Atrioc Enron hat and he wears it to the office? That is so based. That is so based, dude. That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. That just made my day. Oh yeah, hockey. Canadians in chat. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't deserve this. As a citizen, I didn't even watch, bro. I read about it afterwards. I'm sorry, Canada. I heard it was a good game. I'm hoping once they have they put the full game on YouTube yet, or is that not going to happen because of NBC? I would be interested in watching it. Big, congrats to the team. It's awesome. USA, baby. I do kind of feel bad for Canada. I don't know. I just wanted them to get this one. I wanted them to get this one, but I'm still happy for my country. That being said, I'd feel more happy for my country if Cash fucking Patel wasn't there. Fucking the Drake, he's on the team meme. Didn't like that at all. But I'm proud of the athletes. As far as I know, I mean, again, I'm no hockey expert, but from my understanding, is the game was actually quite good. People played pretty well. It wasn't like I mean, for me, I think about man. I don't know if you guys have seen the Court of Gold documentary about the Summer Olympics basketball. Just incredible. Just incredible. Just awesome. Just what a great game. And we're just yeah. Anthony Edwards, basketball player for the Timberwolves. He meets Obama and thinks Obama's insulting him, so he starts talking shit. He starts getting really defensive with Obama. Obama's trying to compliment him, but he thinks he's being insulted, so he is very funny. It's very funny. Now Canada needs to win the World Baseball Classic? Yeah. Curry's last three being called the Golden Dagger was so tough. I mean, can we just 1 second? Like, just this one shot. It just, if you haven't seen it, I feel like you have to see it. If you're an American, you haven't seen it, it's actually unpatriotic. Okay? This is a minute. It's like one of the greatest shots of all time. I'd like to have that happen in the Olympic gold medal game. That's awesome. That's just awesome. Oh, yeah, on France, in France. My God. Almost the Serbia. Yeah, the Serbia game was great. It was truly incredible. Yo, Big Al, went to Seoul last week and couldn't find a single cafe. Why didn't you think about shaking up the Korean coffee industry? This is a joke? You making fun of me in some way? Seoul is filled with coffee shops. Every street corner has 3 or 4 coffee shops. Coffee shops are everywhere in Seoul. There's no way this is true. There's coffee oh, my tweet. I see what you're doing. You're doing a tweet thing. Open presents. I appreciate the gifties. I think I have to ban you. Open presents, you just dropped like 75 gifties. So I appreciate it, sincerely. But like, if you have to stop spamming. I don't know how to tell you. You have to stop spamming. I can't, I'm trying to run a stream here. He just keeps spamming, take the hat off, Enron is fraud or whatever. All right, bro. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you a 3-day timeout. How many seconds is that? Here, I'll just put 10,000. I don't know. Whatever. We'll see you in a little bit. I'll see you in a little bit. It's not that many. 10,000 is nothing. How many? 10,000. That's like a few hours, bro. We're fine. We're fine. Which is, by the way, that's a full stream, though. Okay. Atrioc, you seem like the type of guy to go on a flat 1-mile hike to see a waterfall. What are you trying to say about me? What about me gives that impression? It's not true. It's not true. I mean, I guess I could do that. Like, it doesn't sound like a bad time, but I don't think I'm a type of guy to do that. Is it the flannel? Is it that I'm white? Is it just a white thing you're trying to say? Where are you going with this is what I'm trying to say. We don't need that kind of prejudice in this chat. The only difference in real life would be I would go on a 1-mile car ride to be on my phone in front of a waterfall. Okay? I don't want to get my feet all dirty. I don't want to. Atrioc, the type of guy to buy a Honda Fit to put his bikes in it and then do it 3 times and then drive a Honda Fit for no reason for many years. I guess I am that type of guy because you're just listing a story that I told you. It's like, Yes, that is exactly what happened. I bought a Honda Fit because I thought I would ride my bike more, and I don't do it. You caught me. That's not like a, but you didn't. It's a good car. It is insane though. Like every person I meet in real life that knows me from stream, that sees my car, makes fun of me. My car is actually beat to shit. My car actually has like a big gash in it. It's like dented. Like we've had to, it's like a bad, it's like, it's beat up. It's the same car I've had for a long time now, decade, I guess. And it worked. It's chopped, but it's got heart. And the thing is, when you drive and you park in LA, having a chopped car is like nice. There's no worry about like somebody trying to fucking break into my shit car. Because there's going to be a nicer car nearby and someone will look at that. Act broke to stay rich. That's what I'm saying, bro. What the fuck about the only car I would ever consider buying after this? And I'm going to run this Honda Fit into the ground till the wheels come off. The wheels have come off. When I was driving Rachel back from the Atrioc live concert, the fucking right wheel tire popped. Like, yeah, everything's bad's happened with this car, but it's stood standing. But I would get a Chinese EV if I could do that. If I can't do that, then I'm just running this thing into the ground. And I'd get a Cybertruck, of course. Of course. Of course I'd get a Cybertruck for Daddy Elon. I you know. Like, it's not that I don't already have one, it's that I want two with different wraps. Does Ari have a car? You both drive the Fit. We're a one-car family. We are a one-car Honda Fit family. It's pretty woke of us, honestly. Broke. Woke and broke, honestly. Low key. What about a Tesla Cybertruck with an Elon face on? Does that exist? Tesla Cybertruck Elon wrap. This is from an article called Tesla Color Wraps May Save the Cybertruck. As if this right here that I'm about to show you would save the lagging poor sales of the Cybertruck. This is going to save it. This is what mine looks like, by the way. Dude, driving this unironically is so insane. So insane. Did you give Steve Eisman a ride in your Honda Fit? I did. That's actually fire. Dude, growing up, loving The Big Short, watching it, getting the real Michael Burry. I'm sorry, the real Steve Eisman. Mark Baum, the real Steve Eisman, in my Honda Fit, and then driving him through LA traffic. That shit's awesome. That shit's fucking, that's gas. That's gas. Dude, literally opening the door for Steve Eisman into my broken up, beat up Honda Fit, and then having to clear shit off the seat so he can sit down. Tossing the fucking gym clothes in the back seat, tossing the... How fire is that, dude? That's fire. That's so crazy. No wonder he became Doomer. Yeah, probably. That's why he's down on the economy ever since he saw my car. Where did the dents come from? I mean, a couple things. Dude, legitimately, actually, I got another small dent in my car because, listen, this actually scared me. It fucking scared me, dude. There was a like all over lately. If you drive through LA, there's been a fucking epidemic of um like the huge windows blacked out SUVs. It's like a Uber Black with blacked out windows. And like the Escalades. And there's so many of them lately. And I know that part of it, I don't know if this is one of them, but part of it is that Uber Black was offering way, way higher pay. So everybody tried to get into Uber Black, which drove the price of it way down. Now you can get an Uber Black for like barely above the price of regular Uber, but it's all with this big fucking, it's all, this big fucking Escalade. And so, the economics of it are terrible for these drivers, but they're trying to fucking run it to make ends meet. So that's part of it. But they're driving everywhere. And so I'm driving like this, okay? And it's the highway and there's the turnoff, right? This is the exit. Okay? And these are different lanes. This is like lanes. Okay? And there's, it's California, so there's 12 lanes. Okay? Anyway, there's a car in front of me also turning off. And this is the first car 1. And then there's car 2, that's me. And I also want to take this exit. And there's a third car, which is a fucking gigantic black Escalade that is here and also wants to take this exit. Okay? And so this car slows down a bit, trying to fucking go through. So I have to slow down, and this car swerves over here to try and squeeze in. Okay? And it hits the fucking thing of it, clips the back of my fucking car. Scared the piss out of me, dude. And then, okay, so I just pause. I just stop moving right here. The first guy speeds away. And then the third guy, after he clips me, goes out here and speeds away. No, it's not YTA, bro. No, he didn't even get out. Like that shit was spooky because my car is small and beat to shit. And this is a big fucking black Escalade. Get mogged. I can't imagine living in a world where all of you are on juries. Do you know what I'm saying? All of you fucks are growing up to be our adult society, and you are going to be on juries. And like, they're going to come in and say like, oh, this is a traffic accident with a person. And you're going to say, get mogged. He got mogged. His Honda got car mogged. And then it's insane. And that we're never going to have justice in this fucking country. Well, no, we have justice right now, I guess. I will simply charisma max the jury and get let off. Are you saying you're the one that hit my car? Why would you in the jury need to charisma max the jury? You're not even following the line of logic that I'm saying. This is foolish. Lil bro thinks I look at my paper mail. Do you think if you just ignore jury summons that there's no consequences? Like, I swear to God. I swear to God. I get the jury off, the jury gets me off. Is this sexual now? Are you talking about having an orgy with the jury unrelated to your trial? Okay. I think I need to discuss the cartels. So give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Just a teensy tiny second. Let's see here. Okay. Yes, for sure. Nice segue from car to cartel. Yeah, I'm a pro. That's really brilliant of me. Really fucking brilliant. That's my streamer. All right, 1 second. Am I safe to travel to Mexico right now if I still wear my Goku sweatshirt? Honestly, yeah, your safety would be much improved. But I'll get into it. You could still travel to Mexico, but there is danger there, and there is something going on. I want to cover it. The flights are already back up, but there is a serious thing going on. It makes me want to talk about the drug war in general and some larger stuff. So, okay. Let's get, you know what I need though? So here's what I'll do. I'll open with a clip here from, we can watch this video. I'm not trying to knock them. Where's, so look, this is how far I watched. Just in case you're going to fucking talk about pre-watching. I watched 19 seconds, and it was whenever he pronounced Puerto Vallarta as fucking
Mexico's Jalisco state, as it turns into a Sunday to describe the situation in Puerto Vallarta, a tourist.
The second I saw that, I stopped. I stopped watching. So maybe this is a good video, maybe it's not. But once I watched that, I just didn't trust it, so I started researching more. And so I'm gonna talk about it today, but I want to open with a clip. All right, so listen, okay. Actually, I don't even, it didn't even sound, just like this. In the past 48 hours, we've seen a ton of chaos in Mexico since a cartel leader was killed by the Mexican Special Forces. And the cartel retaliated by burning cars, shutting down roads, causing violence. And actually, I think 15 or 16 Special Forces officers of Mexico were killed, setting fire at gas stations, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I want to get into it, okay? You're going to see pictures all over. Because there's a lot to talk about with this. So, wait. Okay, so there's, again, all over in the past 48 hours, you're seeing roads shut down, burnt cars, smashed windows. Again, 25 members of the Mexican National Guard were killed in retaliatory attacks. Again, burnt out train here, burnt out truck blocking a road, malls. And the general idea of this is that this all stems from this guy, El Mencho, getting killed yesterday. Okay? He had a $15 million bounty. He's considered the most wanted man in Mexico and one of the most powerful cartel leaders. He's the head of Jalisco New Generation, which is the, depending on who you ask, first or second most powerful cartel in Mexico, based out of here in Southwest Mexico, in Jalisco near Guadalajara. And you can see on this map, they're the blue one, okay? So basically the Sinaloa cartel and them, between the two of them, they have the most power. Okay. And the thing that differentiates the Jalisco New Generation cartel is that they are the new generation, as in they're the new, hungry, dangerous upstart cartel in Mexico that is like more, they have a higher youth percentage, more Gen Z, and they use a lot more tech. Again, all cartels. I'm not trying to glamorize any of the cartel here. They're all fucking insane murderers, but let's go to it. Okay. So, they're using landmines. More specifically, they're using a ton of drones. They have popularized the use of drones, not only for drug delivery, but for scouting, for armed attacks. Here's an example. They use an off-the-shelf drone to infiltrate a heavily protected compound of a state prosecutor's office in Tijuana. So, like, they are adopting new tech into the cartel industry. And, it was a very interesting angle on this that I thought actually made me laugh out loud. Somebody actually wrote a piece about how this new tech is killing cartel jobs. Traditionally, controlling turf for extortion or drug retail has required the presence of sicarios, hitmen, and fighters. Trafficking, intimidation, and population control will become less labor intensive. We'll see extensive layoffs of the people they currently employ. For centuries, organized crime and illicit economies provided livelihoods for many who could not find employment in legal economies. But with the increasing use of remote platforms, automation, and AI and criminality, this safety valve, we're through the looking glass, dude. We're in a crazy time. Okay? The purpose of these attacks that we're seeing here in the beginning is largely to, retaliate against the Mexican government, but also more specifically, they're trying to harm tourism. Basically, it's a threat to the Mexican government that's saying, you killed one of our own, and so we are going to make tourism less appealing, cause a ruckus there, which will kind of push you into not doing this again. That's the idea. Again, already on like Business Insider, it's like some Americans are thinking twice about traveling to Puerto Vallarta. By the way, I just want to say, even though all this is real, I still think they've cracked down on a ton of it. Tons of Mexico are very safe and lovely to visit. Okay? That being said, let's talk about it more. So, how did they catch him? I'm gonna tell you how they caught him. I'm gonna tell you what it means, and then what's going on next. Because will this change anything in the drug war? Okay. So, El Mencho was not caught because of going out in the open. He was not caught because of someone on his team flipping on him. He was not caught because of some incredible satellite tracking. He was caught because of his mistress. They couldn't track him. In fact, the reason I keep using this photo is because he has like 3 photos ever. He's been running for decades. He has like 3 photos ever. He's extremely off the grid. Unfortunately, he was also horny. And so instead of tracking him, they just tracked his mistress. She went to the compound where he was, and when she left, they assaulted it. Now, some people, I think it was 65 people died. I don't know the makeup of who died on which side, but it was a bloody firefight. He escaped to the woods. They tried to put him in a helicopter, and then he died in the helicopter. Again, maybe they shot him in the helicopter, maybe not, but he's dead. He's now dead. And, the thing that makes this important is the relative strength and size of this cartel. This is one of the most powerful cartels ever. Again, first or second in Mexico, has operations in this is not even all of them. This is an older slide. It's literally they're now at 42 states in America. They have developed an extremely extensive drug smuggling network that does fent, meth, and cocaine into 42 different states in America. Extremely connected, okay? Their modern presence in Mexico is the largest of any cartel. They're slightly bigger than Sinaloa. They have, again, this is their presence in almost every state in Mexico. And the turf wars that they have primarily led and generated have caused, of the top 10 highest murder rates per capita, Mexico's 8 of them, 7. Mexican cities, Tijuana, Duran, Colima. So the wars for turf within Mexico are insane. Ari's mom has been texting us about, because she lives in Southwest Mexico, about the chaos there right now. Again, troops, President Sheinbaum has already pushed to have troops all throughout the streets, thousands of soldiers to stop violence after the death of the drug lord. They're very, very invested in trying to stop this open violence because it affects 2 things. Number 1 is tourism, and number 2 is the upcoming World Cup games in Guadalajara. They're not just in any part of Mexico. They're here. Okay? There's 4 big games coming up, and they're here in the heart of where all of this is happening. Again, all of the stuff you're seeing, it's not all over Mexico. It's right around where this guy was killed. A few miles to the northeast. So this is the heart of this gang. Again, this is their base of operations, and this is where they're taking out most on the government. As of this is 20 minutes ago, this article. was like right before our stream went live. Security forces are still keeping up the fight with cartel gunmen a day after the Mexican military killed a drug lord. So all in all, on a very surface level, you can say successful operation. They killed a notorious drug lord who has murdered thousands of people. It's, you could say, a step of progress in the fight against drugs in Mexico. However, I want to present some inconvenient information here, okay? This is a org chart of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel from 2018, okay? This is like the most recent org chart they published from the U.S. Department of Justice. I took the time to go through every single member of this org chart to see where they are today. Because this is the guy they just killed. So who's going to step up? Who's next in the power vacuum? Well, it turns out, if you go through this, since 2018, they've gotten every single person on this list, basically, except for the three in green, okay? If it's in yellow, they're currently serving a life sentence. If it's in blue, they're awaiting trial. If it's in red, they're dead. And if it's purple, they flipped and they're cooperating with so if you follow this logic, it's like, wow, they've gotten nearly in 2018, if you ask what is the dream of fighting this cartel, it would be to get all these people. And they did all that, and it has affected their output, the amount of drugs they're smuggling, and the violence, not one bit. Not one bit. Nothing has changed, okay? Few believe it spells the end for the powerful group. We are consistently trying this strategy. And so I want to give you even some more examples. The reason the Jalisco New Generation Cartel even arose to begin with is because of the downfall of El Chapo, which created a power vacuum that their cartel was able to exploit to gain power. We got this guy, put him in jail, they caught him twice, and you rose up another cartel, okay? In 2002, we killed Ramon Felix. In 2010, we killed the boss of all bosses, Arturo Leyva. In 1989, we got the founder of the Guadalajara cartel, Miguel Gallardo. In 2012, we got Heriberto Lescano. This is like Z3. This guy's Z3 of the Los Zetas. Okay? In 2025, we just got the founder of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mayo. Okay? Gallardo. All of these cartel leaders have had short, brief, violent careers, and they've gotten killed. And during all of this time, this is decades of this drug war, this is U.S. overdoses, okay? They've just gone up. And this tracks 1-to-1 with the drug cartel profits. The profits have not slowed once. The overdose deaths haven't slowed once. So the idea that this I guess like what I'm saying is all of this adds up to what has been called the kingpin strategy, which is that if we target and take down the drug kingpins, that will allow us to cut off the head of the snake and defeat these cartels. And the truth is, it has had no effect, like none. I mean, if anything, it's creating more violence because once there's a power vacuum from the fall of this, you get situations like this where there's violence and threats and splintering as people try to fight for new territory. Now, listen, I want to make clear, all of these people committed crimes. All these people deserve to be jailed. But this is not a strategy. This is like just spinning wheels. This is doing nothing. All these people could be jailed, but it's not going to change anything. So I wanted to look at 4 countries. Again, nobody in the world, outside of maybe Singapore, which is close, has truly solved their country's drug problem completely. Nobody. Every country that's had a major drug problem has had different ways of dealing with it. But what I want to go into is that this strategy that we're employing doesn't seem to be working. So what have other countries tried? So I looked at 4 countries that have tried different tactics to reduce their huge amounts of drug deaths or crime in their countries. There's 4, okay? Portugal is number 1 and perhaps the most interesting. Portugal had a massive heroin problem. And in 99, they started a new strategy of essentially focusing entirely on treatment. Basically, they decriminalize, but it's still illegal, but it's decriminalized and that you're not locked up. It's like they've focused all their money and time on trying to reduce the supply of users. So if you were found with possession of drugs, you were forced into like rehab. You were forced into rehab. They expanded outpatient clinics. They created methadone vans to get people off it, and they required police to show up to their counseling sessions. Okay, sorry. The police required you to show up to counseling sessions. Okay. This led to a dramatic drop in the number of Portuguese actually using heroin. Okay. Now this makes a material difference because it reduces the amount of money available for organized crime. If you don't reduce the number of users, then the suppliers will just change faces. Like it'll just be different suppliers of the same real demand. Other countries try different things. Okay? Switzerland had a massive drug problem. They tried, they actually went crazy with it. Sorry, one second. They tried safe injection rooms for addicts. Basically, at one point, they don't do this anymore, but in the 90s when they had a terrible drug epidemic, Switzerland literally would give you clean, high-quality medical-grade heroin to inject on a medical site. I mean, this was pretty, but their goal was, if you are getting it from the government, you are not getting it from a drug cartel, okay? Now, they don't actually do this part anymore. They've changed their strategy a bit. And again, at one point, they did have like they called it Needle Park or something where it was legal, and it got kind of crazy because drug smugglers were like moving there to take advantage of it. I'm not saying it's a perfect strategy. I'm saying this is a different strategy that was more effective because it did overall, again, I'm like simplifying a complex 4-pillar strategy, but Switzerland has tried different things and has seen a reduction in overdose deaths and again, money flowing to crime, okay? Third thing, you're gonna see what's in common with all three of these things. Italy had a massive problem with organized crime with the mafia in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And this judge, Giovanni Falcone, made the most progress they'd ever had, okay? And his strategy was, we are no longer going to treat these as individual crimes. We're going to focus entirely on cutting off the money, okay? This guy's entire strategy was finding a way to financially hinder the criminal organizations, which they passed new laws. They made it easier to seize their funds. All of this stuff had a massive effect. Now, this guy eventually was car bombed and died. Okay, so it's not like it fucking stopped the mafia. The mafia is still active in Italy today. However, after his death, they changed the laws even, they followed his rules even more, and homicide deaths in Italy have dropped massively, okay? And basically what happened is the mafia became way weaker. They became way more afraid of losing their money, which made it not financially viable for them. And then thirdly, the crime that did exist, they made damn sure not to make it violent to stay out of the sight of government authorities. So like, they didn't eliminate crime. The mafia is still a thing in Italy and still powerful, but what they do is they avoid the violence and the murder because they know it'll fuck with their money. That's their new strategy. Again, I'm not saying this is a perfect solution. I'm saying it's a solution that has had measurable progress. And the thing you'll notice about all three of these methods from different countries is they attack the money. The truth is, if there's a huge, massive demand for this stuff, somebody will step in. The only progress you can make is if you make it not financially viable. If it's financially viable, someone's gonna do it. The last country that I want to mention is Colombia, because Colombia is the one country that really tried the extreme version of what we're talking about now, which is the kingpin strategy. Colombia dramatically increased their spending on direct military conflict with cartels. They dramatically tried to hunt down the leadership. And the truth is, after decades of doing this, the progress is basically non-existent. Okay? Colombia's strategy has worked the weakest of all of them. They've driven some of the cartels underground and they've fractured the cartels. So you can say there's some progress in that there's many smaller cartels now instead of a few big ones. But the amount of cocaine production out of Colombia hasn't slowed at all. So what I'm trying to get at is like, we can, whatever you think about the killing of El Mencho today, like it's just not an effective strategy. Capture him, kill him, just it's whatever you do, it better be part of something bigger. Okay, so that's where we find ourselves. I will say, was there anything else I wanted to say on this? No, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the main thing. Is just we are at the end of decades of this failed strategy on fighting cartels, and we need to try something different. The truth is that it's so incredibly profitable, both in Europe and in America, to smuggle cocaine. It's so incredibly profitable in America for meth and fent. Like until we get people off of these things, it's not going to change. It seems like Mexico can only do so much as long as U.S. consumers still. Yeah, again, that's true. I'm not saying it's Mexico only. I'm saying it's America has to reduce drug users. That's what they have to do. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that can work. Especially at the size of our country. Again, I will say like a few small countries have tried total crackdowns. El Salvador is an example, and Singapore is an example. But these countries are so incredibly small, and they're like you have to be extra authoritarian with the crackdowns, that it's like they're just not a big enough market to make it cost effective for the cartels to keep trying. They just sort of move on. I don't think that strategy would work at all in a country as big when the demand is high as America. What was the country that locked up everybody in a mega prison? That was El Salvador. People don't often talk about the reverse problem, the flow of guns from the U.S. to cartels in Mexico, because again, a market exists. Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, the weapons I'm talking about, the drones, the landmines. The cartels now have like full head-to-toe riot gear. They have military vehicles. They have all this stuff is coming from somewhere. It's coming from they have money and there's a demand for smuggling. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so this is happening all over, and it's just because if the demand exists, somebody will find the supply. So what's the alternative? Decriminalize and tax like weed? It's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility. Again, I worry because the problem with, I guess I don't like the way they did it with weed. I would not say make it legal. Weed's different. Weed is legal. You can just smoke weed, no problem. I would say decriminalize as in you don't go to jail for it, but it's not legal to do. You can't legally do meth or heroin and then there should be consequences that aren't jail. The consequences like Portugal should be, forced rehab or what, like that's the idea. You really have to just do whatever you can to turn a user into a not user. If it's purely legal, I know people think that's a good strategy, but if it's purely legal, you will reduce cartel violence for sure, 100%. Companies will move in and they will create it, and they'll, Pfizer will destroy the Sinaloa cartel in 2 seconds. 100%. The problem is once it's on every drugstore, once it's available, once they can market it on a TV, once it's, the use always goes way up. The ease of access dramatically increases the usage, and it becomes a real problem. So yeah, you need to find a way to decriminalize it without legalizing it. That's the takeaway. I just think it was an interesting story. Again, I do want to say, the reports I'm getting from Ari's family in Mexico are that it's extremely chaotic. That this cartel is lashing out in a power vacuum. Again, right now it's splintered. The entire head has been cut off. All people that would succeed him have also been captured. So there's like a bunch of splinters of the Jalisco New Generation cartel that are like fighting for power now. And that's going to be a problem. He said it's safe for Philadelphia, Mexico. It really depends on the part, right? So if you're going to like the Yucatan or something, it's incredibly safe. But if you're going to, you know, the heart of fucking Jalisco, then you're going to find it's more dangerous. But even still, I don't know. It's tough. Tourism is very important there. It's extremely important to the country to protect and save it. I think they are doing that. I would be surprised if in a few weeks there's a meaningful holdover for this. I think the Colombia was a poor example because it's not an issue of people using drugs, but instead they produce drugs. I don't see how dealing with addicts in a place like Colombia or Mexico would cause the cartels to weaken of the foreign markets. No, it's a fair point. I think that's why they chose that strategy. Their goal is to basically try to use violence to move the cartels out of their country. But the problem is it's just geographically where it is the best place to produce cocaine. So it has no effect. It's not dangerous here. It's just chaotic. Bro, I'm just trying to, I mostly agree with you, but I'm trying to be realistic that there is danger. I've been to Mexico many times. I go there all the time with Ari's family. There is danger right now. People are scared. It's bad for tourism, and there have been people killed. So it's not a perfect time. It's not. And again, that is the goal right now. The goal is to make tourism more unpalatable so the government is afraid to do more actions on the cartels. But what I'm trying to get across is that, like, whether they do more actions or not, it doesn't seem to be working for decades and decades now. It's just not working. And there's no person or combination of people you can kill that will replace the demand. What if you increase drug program spending? Yeah, that could work. You say it's like houses. They're targeting supply side. We need to fix the demand. No. In houses, they target the demand side. They need to fix the supply. Houses are the opposite. I think Marty Bird really crossed the line this time. I think so too. This shit is scaring supply chains. We were advised no travel to Mexico and we're shutting down supply lines because truck drivers are spooked. Yeah, they don't want to drive through that area. 100%. Again, less than 24 hours ago, a ton of roads were closed with burning vehicles. The U.S. should flood the market with cocaine to drive down the price and take the cartel's profits. So this is an example I see. I think you're joking, but this is how people really say this. This would work. If you wanted to destroy the cartels, nothing would work better than us creating a bunch of cocaine. The problem is you would also create a massive increase in cocaine users, like a massive amount. Like there would be the number of people would be off the charts. And so it's not like a great idea. You would stop the Harris says sounds like a win-win. You would stop the violence, but not the overdose. And in fact, you kind of entrench it at that point. What if we start marketing drugs to make it seem like only nerds do them? Make drugs uncool. Honestly, I don't know if that would solve the problem, but it would be a better step. Okay? You have to do it better than Dare, though. They did a bad job. They made it seem cool as shit. What if we forced the cartels to print on every, on every shipment of meth that it causes harmful health effects? Every fucking baggie may cause cancer. What if we forced the cartels to health label this shit? Every baggie of meth has a printed picture of some dude missing his teeth saying this could be you. Yeah, let's do that. Young people in China are drinking less because they associate it with their middle-aged parents. That's not just in China. Young people are drinking less here. Alcohol is way down. People are drinking less all over, but it's like it's a shift in taste. People are just smoking more weed, bro. They're smoking more weed. They got kratom. Like, I don't think people have stopped having vices. They've just shifted them. But yeah, I don't know. I think we got to change strategy, man. I just don't. There's no amount of cartel leaders we can kill that's going to change things. We've tried. We've killed so many cartel leaders. We've kidnapped. We've captured and killed so many. You'd think by the 12th one, you'd see progress. What if just one more? Maybe just one. Maybe the next one. If we get one more cartel leader, it just stops. %90 of LATAM governments stop killing cartel leadership before organizations collapse. No, but here's the fucking problem. You're joking, you're doing the diamond, but also, like, when they collapse is the worst part. When they collapse is when they splinter into 14 different cartels that are fighting for territory. So the violence spills out into the public. Like, the cartel collapsing is when people hate it the most. That's when it's the most deaths. Not that, it's like, it's an intractable, big, hairy problem. I understand that. Because you don't want to have a gigantic, powerful cartel either. But demand is the main thing. Can we have private equity buy out the cartels and run them into the ground on debt? Now you're talking. Wait a minute. What if we allow private equity to buy out local cartels and cut their quality? It's like Subway, dude. Like, you're going to be getting worse baggies, and everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm not going to shop here anymore. They're cutting this shit. It's the Coke is repackaged. It's stepped on. They're shrinkflationing the baggies. Inshitify the cartel. Wait, if we inshitify the cartel, we should only buy local. That's so true. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. We can watch this. I mean, if there's anything in this video worth saying, I haven't watched it, but maybe there's parts I didn't see. You know, mine was less about the actual event and more about the consequences. So we can watch this and see if there's anything worth including.
Even those words don't feel adequate enough to describe the magnitude of what's happening. One video obtained by Fox News showed fires lit at a gas station, helicopters circling over the city, and armed government forces on the backs of pickup trucks patrolling the streets. Another video posted on X allegedly showed gang members shooting from a moving vehicle as they headed for a confrontation with Mexican forces. And the violence wasn't just limited to Puerto Vallarta.
Well, I will say, though, I don't know if he's going to include these clips, but a big part of this was there was a lot of fake, you know, we're just in an era of like insane misinformation and AI generated slop, bro. There was a lot of shit of like cartel seize airport take over, like that, which wasn't true. Like it wasn't, but it gets 15K likes or whatever, and then you know there'll be like an official rebuttal that like proves it's not true, and it's like gets 800. So shit just moves fast. The stuff that's real is in the southwestern Mexico, like 250 roads were blocked by burning cars. 25 Mexican government agents were killed. And there was like storefronts that got destroyed. These are all real. But outside of that, most things I saw, you know, they were fake. So there's a lot. There's a lot of misinformation.
According to the NY Times, much of the violence happened in Guadalajara, the capital of Jalisco state, more than 300 kilometers from Puerto Vallarta. Violence was also reported in more than 10 other states. All of this violence stemmed from one event, the killing of one of the nation's most powerful cartel bosses, Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, the founder and leader of the notorious Jalisco New Generation Cartel. An elusive figure, Oseguera, also known by the nickname El Mencho, was widely considered
This is all image, 15 million US. And as far as I know, nobody got paid for it.
The most powerful cartel boss in Mexico since the arrest of Joaquim El Chapo Guzman in 2016. He was also the last of the narco bosses who would capture public imagination through a combination of flashy lifestyles and brutal displays of violence inspired by El Chapo and Ismael El Zambada. While his death is a major coup for America and Mexico in their war on drugs, it has also raised a lot of questions, not least of which is how the henchmen of a single gang boss were able to bring an entire nation to its knees. A country on its knees. Even in a conflict as brutal as Mexico's drug war, Sunday was on a whole other level. Jim Vorter, an American with permanent residency in Puerto Vallarta, described armed men ordering people out of vehicles at gunpoint. A resident who has lived in Puerto Vallarta for 23 years said he'd never seen anything like it. One witness told American outlet KWTX that he had seen what appeared to be execution-style murders on his way to the airport. Armed gang members seized control of major roads, torching buses and trucks to create burning barriers that trapped tourists and residents in specific zones. Smoke billowed over
I basically want the videos.
as cartel members set multiple fires. Streets that had been bustling with tourists hours earlier were now deserted, patrolled by armed men in pickup trucks. A Jalisco state official, speaking anonymously to the press, said 7 members of Mexico's National Guard had been killed so far. The violence wasn't contained to Jalisco. In Guadalajara, panic gripped the city's international airport as travelers ducked behind check-in counters and workers in high-visibility vests abandoned their posts.
I think this, okay, so this video is one I specifically saw was proven false. I thought this video specific, I shouldn't watch this video. I'm pretty sure this video is from an entirely different time. Like it's unrelated entirely to this event, and people are mislabeling it. So I don't think I should watch this one. I don't think I should watch this one. Any hoots. What else is there to talk about? I mean, that's you know, I think that's my main point. My main point is that El Mencho was killed. It's causing a big amount of chaos in Mexico. They are extra trying to crack down on that because of the World Cup coming up, which is really important. They don't want to have people not show up. It's all part of a larger kingpin strategy that's failing in the war on drugs. That's my 5 points. I got them across. I think you understand. I don't got anything else to say. What else? What else is going on in the fucking world? There was something I wanted to talk about. Wait. Xbox. Yeah, okay. So a couple things have come out about Xbox. Nothing hard confirmed, but people saying, people with in the games industry who have sources are saying some stuff that lines up with my analysis.
Reiterate.
This is from Kind of Funny. Talking to Greg Miller, longtime games
I've been
journalist.
past something that again reiterates to me. I'm not gonna read it, but like reiterates of like, oh no, this was not planned. No,
Yeah,
no.
100%.
Well, man, people are still debating in the. I'm
That's
saying,
crazy.
Chad, if you trust us,
They're talking about whether or not he was fired or quit, Phil Spencer. And they're saying, based on his source, that this was not planned and Phil Spencer was fired. And basically he was forced to resign, forced to step down. And by the way, I stand by that. Because if you, again, just look at the timeline, bro. Look at the timeline of like bad event, horrible financial season, hardware sales cratering, he quits. it's like, oh, time with my kids. It's like, no, I think it's pretty obvious they're cleaning house. And what's interesting, this is the other thing I saw, was people talking about some internal leaks from Microsoft and what they're thinking about strategy. I wonder where I put this. But it was also kind of soft confirming the idea that Microsoft is really trying to, like, this is like a soft sunsetting of the Xbox brand. Like, they're all in on AI only. This is basically a way to turn it into an AI only play. They don't care about Xbox as a console brand. And a very good likelihood there won't be another console. Yeah, but you can't see cleaning house and then immediately putting another person. I mean, you should watch my video on it because I said the same thing. I don't agree that she was a good choice. But what I'm telling you is like they are done. They're done with Xbox. They're not trying to. I don't think they're trying to save it. I don't think they're trying to like bounce back. I think they're more likely trying to turn into a content arm of like a Netflix for gaming thing. So yeah, PlayStation 1. But I'm working on a bigger presentation about the games industry, and what I will say is like consoles as a whole are kind of, it's like PlayStation might win the battle against Xbox, but maybe lose the war. Consoles are as a whole in a weird declining state. Like gaming is shifting. It's not that the console sales are so bad. They're fine. It's like, again, I don't want to spoil myself. I think I have some cool graphs here. But if you look at, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. For people who are watching today, but I'll have to repeat this later because I think this is important. If you look at actual console game sales, the majority of console users only play one of 5 games. It's like Fortnite, Madden, FIFA or FC Club or whatever it's called now, Call of Duty, like that is it. That is the games they buy every year, and that's all they play. It's like 40% of all sales on the platform. The console is essentially a platform for those 5 games, and that's it. It doesn't. They're not like buying. They're not going off and buying other experiences, and so the percentage of sales on a console that goes to, AAA narrative titles or whatever is shrinking year over year. It's getting smaller. Like For example, a game that was critically acclaimed and sold decently was something like Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Spider-Man 2 shrunk. You know, it's doing worse. They're spending more money, but it's doing slightly worse than the last one. It's still made money, it's still profitable. But like the direction of travel is that consoles as a place to put new games is like shrinking. It's becoming platforms for these forever games, and it's just cheaper than a PC. It's like a cheap PC to play a forever game. And so, like, a lot of budgets are getting cut. A lot of like studios are shutting down. A lot of things that are like normal for the industry are dying, and it's in all, and not just Xbox, it's Sony as well. So, it's just interesting. The times are changing. They kind of killed themselves and they wanted the forever game. I mean, yeah, everyone wants one of the forever games because that's like it's like, listen, there's only a few of them, right? League of Legends, Fortnite, Roblox. There's only a few forever games. And by that, I mean like these big, you know, may not actually be forever, but they're huge and they have Minecraft. If you have one of these 5, it's like a cash geyser. It's like finding a seam in the ground that spits out money, okay? They just print money more than anything else. But because all of the money's going out of this geyser, there's like nothing left in the ground for regular games to go and dig up, okay? It's all coming out of here. You own this. Everybody else they've just sucked up a huge amount of the money and most importantly, time. What happened? Why is this all gamers want? Well, here's the thing. Again, I'm kind of spoiling this presentation, but if you think about it rationally or logically, for many gamers, picking 1 or 2 forever games and sticking with it is like the most economical choice. It's like actually from their POV, they get the most hours for the least invest. They don't have to buy a lot of games. They get a ton for relatively little, and it takes advantage of human sunk cost fallacy where if I'm a regular person, you know, I can't go out and afford 15 different games, and I buy this one and my friends play it, and I've already spent a lot of money on skins or cosmetics or add-ons, and also I have a limited amount of time to game every week, so I've already gotten good at this game. Like I understand it. Now I don't have to learn something new. I don't have to get rid of all my established skins. It's like a lock-in. And so slowly but surely, this lock-in is squeezing everything else out. Which is just interesting. Do you know? Just don't make live service. I mean, most companies are going to stop trying to make live service because they think they'll lose. But that won't stop live service from killing them. Yeah, dude, it's kind of like this. Imagine if a TV series, imagine if like a show like The Office or Friends never ended and the characters never aged and the writing was like the same basic quality. It's like that could run a long time and people might just watch. Right? South Park is kind of like this, or One Piece. Yeah. It's like, but yeah, imagine if like there was, 5 or 6 One Pieces that had a huge portion of your media diet. It would be hard for you to find new shows because you'd be constantly watching the same ones. You just watch the same shows. They would always have something new for you. That's kind of what's happening. Isn't that just streams? I guess, but streamers are stupid, myself included, and we fall off. and we have like lagging energy. I mean, whatever. It's like that. I'm talking about an example. Like One Piece is probably the closest thing I can think of in real life, but like a Fortnite is basically the same experience season to season. Like they're just giving you new stuff, but you understand how to play. They just keep doing that. And then as long as they keep the formula going, it's like, when are people going to churn out? Mm. Yeah, it's just an infinity. It's a weird thing, but they're so big. And then the money cost of switching is kind of high. And I think that's what's different than shows. Like if I like a show, like One Piece or whatever, and I want to watch a different show, it doesn't cost me anything. But if watching a different show cost you $50 and you'd have no one to talk about it with, you know what I'm saying? That's the part that makes the lock-in so big in gaming. Yeah, it's kind of like streaming services. It's kind of like that. But it's even worse than that because it's like, I don't know. Like if you switch from Netflix to HBO, you lose the Netflix library, sure. But the switching cost of going back and forth is kind of simple. It's like if I leave Fortnite for a different shooter like that, I lose all of those skins, all the money, all the extra money I spent on top of it. It's like basically what I'm saying is like there's no true analog because live service games are like the most addictive thing we've designed. Like outside of chemical addiction. Like it's the most addictive entertainment product. I don't think people are playing games they don't enjoy for these reasons. These games are big for reasons. Oh, if they hated it, they wouldn't play it. It's like if you love Fortnite, you play Fortnite all the time, and to you it's like maybe getting a little old, so it's like a 7 out of 10. You're not gonna switch to a 7.5 out of 10 game or an 8 out of 10 game because of the lock-in. So a game would have to be dramatically better to get you to switch. It'd have to be like a fucking 9 or a 10 to even get you to try it. And then to stick with it is even harder because then you have to get other friends to do it. Gotcha games is like this. Yeah, for sure. Again, like it's, let's say 40, 50% of the market is just live service games, 5 live service games. Then on top of that, it's like mobile and gotcha. And then the percentage that's left for like new narrative titles, it's like fucking 6-7% if you must do it. It's like really small, bro. It's really small. And all that's going to GTA 6. Wait, what is this? A message to the lemonade stand fans from fucking Ludwig? What is this?
Shut up! I'm running the fucking 5K. Shut the fuck up, man. I'm running it. Shut up, bro. I'm serious. I'm sending my B-52 to your house the next commenter I see it, okay? Shut up!
If you wanted to shut up, run the 5K! Why are you crashing out when you promised to do it? We're fucking 3 months into the new year. Supposed to do it in January. You're crashing out at them. You made a promise. It was a bet. We put $50,000 into the pot. You gotta if you lose the bet, you gotta run the race. Why are you saying we in quotes? Like I didn't put 10,000, 1/5. I'm 1/5. Why are you saying we in quotes? I use the word we perfectly, as in I am 1/5 of the. Oh, because of Aiden? Did Aiden not put his in? Oh, yeah, Doug covered for somebody. Doug paid somebody else's for sure. And I didn't buy the stocks, I just bought gold. If you must know, we were supposed to take $10,000 and buy 1,000 of each different stock. But I was like, fuck that. I don't know if this will work. I'll just buy gold and pay the difference. And I was right. I made more money off gold than I would have made off the fucking 10 stocks. And so I covered the whole thing and I had a little extra. How about that? Genius. Fucking genius, bro. Stole from charity, literally the opposite. Literally made sure the charity would have money no matter what. That's why you mad at Lev for not following the rules. It's a little different, okay? Because I did follow the rules. I put the money in the stocks and I paid the exact amount the stocks were worth. If anything, the only company I stole from is who did I invest in that was a bad company? I can't remember my portfolio anymore. I stole from Albertsons and DraftKings. I stole from DraftKings, bro. I didn't give DraftKings my $1,000. Instead, I gave it to gold. Boo-hoo. Speaking of LS, we got a big LS guest tomorrow. I won't leak. I usually leak, but I'm not leaking. We have a big LS guest tomorrow, though. I think someone you guys will like quite a bit. Out of our wheelhouse a little bit. Pretty cool. Donald J. Trump. That's someone you'll like, right? Donald J. Trump. Finally getting Gerald Ford. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves because he is dead. Long dead. So very tough to get Gerald Ford because he is a long dead president. So let's not make it so important. A Ouija board? Us doing a Ouija board combo with Gerald Ford would be truly, truly incredible. Really something to look back on. Tickety tackety, thank you for the 58 months. Who's got a banger video? Huh? Riddle me that. There was a new How Money Works, right? We could watch that. Patrick Boyle. Patrick Boyle's not that fun to watch live. I like to put that video on while I'm doing something else. Who could I watch live? Is there a... I feel like there was something I really wanted to watch with chat, and I thought it was fucking interesting. Oh! There was a... It was More Perfect Union. It was about Vegas. Why Vegas doesn't care if you visit...
They say what happened...
I want to watch this. Why Vegas doesn't care if you visit anymore. That sounds interesting to me. I want to watch that because here's the tea. We've made a couple videos about Vegas. As you may know, people are pissed at Vegas. They added a third zero in roulette. They jacked up the price of the rooms. They have absurd fees. The buffets have gotten crazy expensive. It's all become horrible. It's been super and shitified. And so you hear from people that used to travel to Vegas a lot, and they don't want to do it anymore. That the number of people going there has dried up. But the purpose of this video, I think, is supposed to be about how they don't care. they've figured out a new way. And it could possibly be that it's just a K-shaped economy thing, and Vegas is targeting the wealthy high rollers. But I will push back. I mean, I have to watch the video before I push back on it. Let's see. Because my counter to that would be, if that's their argument, my counter to that would be, you see signs of desperation in Vegas already, though. They're already offering crazy deals. They're already like trying to win people back.
Happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But these days,
Bro's doing a rebuttal for hearing a single word. I'm speaking so fast today. Bro's doing a rebuttal for hearing a single word. I think it's because I fucking I slept a ton. I'm like, my brain's moving on. I'm speaking so fast. Anyway, what I want to say is I'm rebutting the title. Because the title implies that Vegas doesn't care if you visit. And if you zoom out on that, unless it's clickbait, but if they actually believe that, you got to think that's stupid. Because of course they care if you visit. A town built on tourism cares if you visit. Of course. Like, maybe at the margin there's like certain, but they have to care.
there's not much happening.
Where's the people? There should have been 100 people deep, and there's not. There's 13. They're not here. They're not here.
In 2025, Vegas saw its biggest drop in tourism in years, leading some to declare Vegas officially dead.
There's a technical term for that. That is horse shit. That has been the media coverage.
Vegas is dying, guys.
That people are fleeing Las Vegas.
And it is absolutely dead.
You look up Las Vegas and those negative videos are coming up now.
Everything was flourishing. Everything was great. You can get a job anywhere. And then...
So which is it? Is Vegas dead? Or is something else happening here?
The perception is definitely, that's not the cheap Vegas I used to visit.
Do you feel like Las Vegas is still for people like you?
No, I don't think so.
Vegas is changing. It's going to be another evolution of Las Vegas.
Despite what they say, what happens in Vegas doesn't always stay here.
Vegas is a good kind of bellwether of economic trends.
So if Vegas is in bad shape, it could be a warning that the economy we're building is a...
You're a Vegas local, Shapuku? We locals are struggling. My barber he's got family in Vegas and he travels there all the time. And for the past 2 haircuts, he doesn't have much to work on with the hair. So he just talks my ear off about Vegas. He's been telling me how much it's fucking, his family is complaining. He doesn't want to go anymore. Like he's been telling me about, he's like, I've been doing it for 30 years and it's just gotten, it's like the worst he's seen it.
A lot more fragile than it looks.
Nobody loves Las Vegas more than me, but you can't celebrate with people that aren't here.
Everybody's mad. It's catering to the rich. Can I say shit show?
What's going on, Mark?
Good. I love that jacket.
You like it?
We are just for
Damn.
I wasn't going to come to Vegas and not look good, man.
That's great.
That's Mark. When he's not busy being Elvis,
Hell yeah, Elvis. That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
he's running a 24-hour wedding business.
How's business?
Bad. I would go from 6 or 7 weddings a day to I'm hoping for 6 or 7 a week.
Whoa, all right.
So
he
we're not
gets it.
feeding anybody on the weddings anymore.
And it's not just Elvis.
Double
In 2025, Vegas saw a 7.5% drop in visitors. The last time numbers fell that much, outside of the pandemic, was right after the Great Recession. On the ground, that's meant
but the
fewer
economy's
rides
chill,
for
though.
Uber drivers like Mike.
It used to be you could go out anytime and work and there'd be people coming out of the airport. Now you go in the middle of the afternoon, nothing. You sit there all day waiting for a ride.
Man. I mean, I feel bad for this guy 100%. But part of it is that the price for Ubers and taxis in Vegas is so disgusting. It's so disgusting. It's like the idea where you like go down the street and it costs you $48. It's like absurd. I assume that's just unsustainable.
Fewer hours for chefs like Chris.
They don't need a lot of cooks where I'm at right now. because they see the amount of traffic coming in and it's like, yeah, there's not a lot of people here.
How do you get the people back to Vegas?
Exactly. That would be the question.
From the outside, a 7% reduction in visitors doesn't exactly look like a crisis. And depending on where you sit, it's not.
It's hard to get too bent out of shape. I talk to these CEOs, these presidents, all the kind of business leaders in Vegas. They're not worried.
Okay,
Scott
well,
Robin is the founder of Vital Vegas, a blog about the people who run the casino.
You ever heard of perhaps CEOs projecting confidence because it affects their bottom line? Like, is that you don't think it's ever happened in history? People who have a vested interest in things looking good pretend things are good.
Casinos, and the ones who keep them running. He's skeptical of claims that Vegas is dead.
2025 was probably peak hating on Vegas.
Just saying that tourism numbers are like really like declining, bro.
As you can see, it is dead.
And that was associated with a small decline in visitation. There's been a lot of talk about why that might have happened.
How's the economy in Vegas?
Everyone has a different theory.
Canadians aren't thrilled with our current administration, right?
Gambling is not unique to us any longer. There's gambling all over America now.
But there was one theory that kept coming up.
What do you think the answers are?
People have less money now. Expensive.
Yeah, it's got to be that.
Vegas is really, really expensive right now.
It's got to be that.
Is that your experience?
That is my experience. So this bottle of water was $14, so.
And they've got all these stupid fees up and down all these hotels.
From the moment you show up, they hit you. Resort fees, parking fees, service fees, pool fees.
What other fees are there?
There's so many.
Your mini bars that are in your
Dude,
refrigerator.
it's so funny. I'm fucking cooked. You guys, I'm so cooked. He said $14 bottle of water, and everybody in chat freaked out. And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, it's not good." Maybe he Uber Eats it, you know.
Refrigerator. All you got to do is open the door, and you'll get charged $75 for it.
And then you're going to buy a bottle of water that's $10. Don't beat people to death over a bottle of water. Buy them a drink, for God's sakes.
We're in the desert.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming it was hotel bottle of water. Those always try to fuck you. That's normal for all time. Again, I think, listen, let's listen to my barber talk. My barber's telling me, like, he tells me the same thing about the fees, but he also tells me everywhere he goes to gamble, they've made the odds worse and more favored of the casino. So he's like, in my heart, I already knew I was going to lose. Like, I go there expecting to lose. But when they make it so stacked, it's like I don't remember how he phrased it, but it's like an insult. It's like an extra, like, the odds were already in your favor at 51-49%. Making it, pushing it making it so you get less payout for blackjack, for example. That's the one he kept bringing out. Like, at most tables now, they pay you out less for blackjack when you get a blackjack. That was like a big moment, but now you don't get at 6-5 or yeah, it's fucked up.
Pioneers of many of those fees are the biggest companies on the Strip.
The big boys are obviously MGM and Caesars.
How much of the Strip does MGM and Caesars own?
I'm going to say probably 60 or 70%. They're the big players. A lot of the things they do, others follow. And people freak out when I say this, but it's just smart business. They have shareholders. They have quarterly earnings reports. So you got to get creative. A lot of that creativity comes in the form of...
This guy's arguments make no sense. It's like appeal to authority. You think no company that has shareholders and quarterly earning reports never made bad business decisions? There's never been a company who has shareholders. Of course, they make bad business decisions all the time. I'm not even saying like but the shareholders. I'm saying like a company that has shareholders and tracks their data still makes dumb choices that hurt their value all the time. That's what Vegas, I think, is doing.
How can we give a little...
Yeah, it's like saying they got money, so they must be smart, and looking at like Elon or whatever. It's like, it's like that's not a guarantee of intelligence or of making smart choices. It's like saying, it's like in the late 90s being like, I think Blockbuster knows what they're doing, okay? They wouldn't have 3,000 stores if they didn't know what they were doing, all right? If they're not going to buy Netflix, it's because they know what they're doing. And it's like, maybe they're just fucking dumb. Maybe they're just not seeing the signs.
A little bit less back.
The people that run this town, it's just about the least you can do to make the most money. And some people will pay that.
But these days, fewer and fewer people feel like they can.
Yeah.
In the last year, consumer confidence fell to near historic lows. Household debt hit record highs. And when Americans aren't feeling great about the economy, Vegas is often the first to find out.
I have friends that would come here 3-4 times a year. Vegas was their place, and now they're like, we're going other places.
Economically, you and me, we're all doing our jobs. But the other side, it looks like they forgot what they're supposed to be doing. And they're doing something else that is not helping the people. I can tell you that much.
You want to pay people living wages to be able to support themselves, but then the price of everything goes back up even further.
But here's the thing. On paper, the economy, with a capital E, looks fine. The stock market's up.
Thing.
And even though Vegas is facing its biggest slump in years, it's not necessarily a crisis.
50K, baby.
At least, not for the biggest casinos,
Actually, well
who've
under
spent
today.
decades reshaping their business model to chase a different kind of customer.
The whales.
You'll hear people say things like, this place was much better when the mob was running it.
It ain't ran by the mob no more. It's ran by the corporation. They be taxing like a motherfucker.
Back in the mob days, the goal was simple. Get as many people through the door as possible, keep them happy, and keep them.
There is no way that this guy was around for when the mob was running it. I know black don't crack, but that guy is not. Do you know what I'm saying? This guy's like 26, maybe. Yeah. What are we talking about? You don't want to go back to the mob running casino. It's not.
Mob no more. It's ran by the corporation. They be taxing like a motherfucker.
Back in the mob days, the goal was simple. Get as many people through the door as possible, keep them happy, and keep them playing. That meant cheap rooms, low-limit tables, and big, free attractions.
You could go see the pirate battle at Treasure Island. You could see the show in the sky at Rio. And you could see the volcano.
How much money did it take to have a good time back in the day versus now?
$100. $100, you could go out and have a good time.
But what happened over time is these companies realized, like, this is a huge expense. Pirates are expensive. Look, we could try this mass appeal.
Yeah.
But it's in our best interest to chase the folks who have the most money to spend. It's Bruno Mars. It's Dana White. It's the guys playing $50,000.
Vegas is reorienting around Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is such a whale. Bruno Mars is a consistent gambling loser. The entire city of Las Vegas is reorienting to make sure they can get him.
Hand for a half an hour. Those are the folks you want to have as your customer because they're more valuable to your business.
That business model isn't unique to Vegas. It's showing up more and more across the economy. Whether it's luxury cars,
Disney,
high-end travel,
I didn't pre-watch.
or
Disney.
designer fashion, the richest 10% of Americans are
Well, also we talked about it. It's happening at Disney. Disney parks are like reorienting around the wealthy families. You know, they're getting all this super fast pass stuff and the nice hotels and they're all reorienting around this fucking K-shaped shit. 'Cause that's where the money is.
now driving almost half of all consumer spending, while the rest are cutting back. They're calling it the K-shaped economy.
The K-shaped economy.
Oh, there you go. The you say families in quotes, but it's two adults, no kids. True. Yeah, I guess the wealthy fucking childless 38-year-olds.
K-shaped economy.
This K-shaped economy where the wealthy keep spending.
And in Vegas, at least for now, that business strategy seems to be paying off.
They're not so worried about the neighborhood guy that wants to come out here with his wife and gamble.
It's fewer people. They're actually gambling more.
How much are we betting here?
$400,000.
The $400,000 hand.
Mm-hmm. Because these sissies won't give me $1 million a hand.
Okay, well, I get where they're going with this, and it's sort of what I saw from the title. But now I can rebut a little bit, right? Or should I watch more? I just want to rebut a little bit, because I think there's been this idea that everything's going K-shaped, and everybody can survive by catering to the rich, and we got an Elysium thing going on. And that's just it. And then people are going to be in the fucking underclass. And I just want to counter that by saying all of this K-shaped spending, maybe not Dana fucking White, but the richest 10% they're catering to, their wealth comes from the rising real estate and stock market values. Those only exist because of corporate profits that are downstream from a supposedly healthy economy. When the people at the bottom run out of debt and have to stop spending, it does ladder up. Once the defaults rise, once the spending truly slows, it affects corporate earnings, which tanks the stocks, which tanks the spending power of these wealthy top 10%. And in fact, I'm introducing a new type of economy because I didn't invent K-shaped economy, but I was one of the first people to talk about it. I think it was Peter Atwater who first said it. And this is like over 2 years ago, I've been saying K-shaped economy. The new thing after K-shaped is L-shaped. The L-shaped economy, bro. It's going to be an even smaller, almost imperceptibly tiny, straight up line for a very few people, and then almost everybody else at the bottom. Okay? It's L-shaped economy. You're going to hear about that in about a year and a half. It's L-shaped economy, bro. I think the luxury spending of the top 10, 15% is going to slow.
So it's a very weird industry because the gaming revenue keeps going up even as visitation goes down.
But to understand what that business strategy actually looks like, I present to you Formula One.
The race to transform the streets into a high-speed track is well underway.
The Las Vegas Grand Prix will once again turn the strip into a racetrack.
F1 is not a sport for the common person.
Dude, we were there in Vegas for F1, Stans and I, but we didn't have tickets to the actual Formula One thing. We were just in Vegas at the same time. Not only is it not a sport for the common person, they literally don't. They put up walls so you can't watch the streets. It's so okay. We talked about this, dude. They literally make it so that I can't. Like if you're just walking around Vegas, you can't even see the street the race is on because they put up. It's so crazy. You can't even just be broke and watch it. You have to be in one. They talk about in the video. Okay, I'll pre-watch them.
Tickets for F1 go for hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Add on the cost of food, hotels. It's pretty obvious who the event's built for.
It's catering to the rich. There's an influx of...
Someone said it, yeah. No, because the escalator strategy people chat are mentioning, because I talked about this in real life. When I was there, I found a spot where there was an escalator going up to an overpass, and that was the one area it wasn't blocked off. So I kept riding that escalator up and down to try and to catch a glimpse of the cars zooming by. But they have staff out there that shoo you along. They're like watch and shoo you along. If you try to watch, it's like crazy. It's like all this extra effort to keep people from getting a glimpse of free product.
Of air traffic, all the private jets come in. That parking lot is usually over capacity. You got Pepe from France coming over to watch the stupid cars driving, and you don't even get to watch them. They go like, what are you watching? But it's a split second. It's like sex with me. It's done. The main artery of our town is taken over by an event that lasts 3 days. What city on earth would let a 3-day event take over for 4 months?
It is such a hindrance on being able to get around this town. A huge percent of the people who live in this town work on this boulevard.
A lot of traffic and slow going along the strip.
You got grandstands going up here, you got lighting going up here.
How do you feel about F1?
Oh, I hate F1. F1 has done more damage to this town, and they kill more business. I hate F1.
Can I say shit show?
You can say fuck, you can say whatever you want.
I will not, but fuck F1. No, everybody's mad.
Can you just kind of see it in town, or?
Oh, you're not allowed to look at it.
What does that mean?
They put film across the bridges so the locals couldn't walk up and watch the race.
It's so stupid,
As a matter of fact, these bars...
Dude, it feels dystopian. I've walked across this bridge.
So the locals couldn't walk up and watch the race.
I've walked across this bridge. It feels dystopian. It feels so weird. They put up this plexiglass film that you can't see through. It's so strange. Like this city would feel so much more vibrant and alive if they just took this down and everyone's like, oh, this is cool. Like it would make the F1 thing feel like a cool part of the city. But instead it feels like the city's been taken over unless you have a ticket. It's so strange. It's such a weird choice. And like, it's not like, okay, here's the thing. Maybe they spend a fuck ton of money setting this all up and they want to make their return. You don't want it to be unprofitable. I get that on some level. But they did that for the very first time they tried it. So it's not like they tried it and they're like, oh man, everyone's just hanging out and it's causing problems. And they didn't even let that happen. They just did this for the very first F1 in Vegas. It's crazy.
As a matter of fact, these bars, any bars that have windows facing the Formula One race, they come up and they put partitions over it so nobody can.
And also, you got to imagine, right? Imagine if you're in the luxury seats, right? You're in the nice spot. Doesn't it feel cooler when you see like the crowds of people watching and it's like they're cheering? Like you have a nicer seat, but it's like instead of everything being walled up and you can, like, it feels more isolated. I don't feel like that's a better experience. It's like if I went to a basketball game and I got a courtside seat, but they got rid of the rest of the stadium. So there's nobody cheering. It's like a dead silent. It's like, okay, well, my seat is nice, but it's just weirder. It's weirder. I don't understand. Like you want the thrill of the crowd and to feel like the city's bustling and alive.
See it.
It's a whole town that is being put on hold. Why? 4 casinos make so much money for 3 days. That's literally the answer. They make bank.
Yeah, I mean,
You've made a decision to cater to a very small number of affluent people, sacrificing the convenience and mental health of everyone else.
I had picked up an elderly couple. He told me that his wife's bucket list was to see the Bellagio fountains, and they got here and the fountains were all covered up with grandstands.
Okay. I get the music and I get the story and I'm mostly on this guy's side, but plan the trip better. Plan the fight. This is your wife's bucket list item and you didn't think to check? You didn't you just showed up? You could do this anytime and you chose the 3 days it's shut down? I'm sorry. YTA, I know, but that's crazy. They're not going to be open every single day of the year. There may be other things that happen.
Put all their dedication into bringing his wife here for her bucket list, and they couldn't even see what she came here for.
I think the Bellagio fountains, even though they don't generate a penny, they're really...
By the way, you don't need to actually go to things in real life to enjoy them. Why didn't she just hand his wife a YouTube short of the Bellagio fountains? And she could scroll that and that would be just as beautiful and just as cinematic. And then when she's bored of it, she can scroll to other things. Why do you have to travel all the way to a thing? That's a better way to experience. Or buy an NFT of it, yeah.
Important for Vegas.
Or, yeah, go to Sora and generate a video, a fake AI slop video of fountains that look kind of like the Bellagio fountain. You can dig 100 of them. That's perfect.
Because when people list the memorable things, what did you do in Vegas? I saw the fountains at Bellagio. I took a picture of that beautiful fountain outside Bellagio. That's one of the things that's changing about the perception. It's not that you're not welcome. It's just maybe this isn't for you. You might not be our target customer.
Vegas has changed a lot over the years. And with it, so has the country.
The people that used to be here on the street partying, carrying on.
Middle-class people.
Middle-class guy, you and your friends. They're just not as many as there used to be.
I came here in 1991, and I got about a year left. I'm going to get the hell out of here because it has changed so much. I don't care for it much anymore.
What's that say about where the town is heading?
Well, if it keeps heading the same direction, it's gonna be a ghost town at some point because people are just gonna stop coming here.
No matter what the YouTubers tell you, Vegas isn't dead. At least, not on paper. The money's still here, and in some places, there's more of it than ever. What's changed is who the city is for, who gets dealt in, and who gets priced out. So it's worth asking, what happens long-term when an economy is built like this, fueled more and more by the consumption of the rich?
I think the reality is they have to cater to everybody. I don't think it's realistic that you have this elite group paying all the bills. I don't think it's sustainable.
I agree, by the way. For all the doom and gloom in this video, I mean, this is a bad spot to be in. I'm just saying, like, the idea that that's just the way it is and it'll just work for them. It's not even working for them. MGM stock is down. Like, on a 5-year basis, it's down. It's not working. It's not like they're doing this out of desperation. They're trying to go to the wealthier consumers, but people are turning away. Like, it's a failing strategy because there's not that many of them, and they could go anywhere on earth. They're rich. And so, I don't think it's, I do want to say one thing that I didn't really think about, and they said it in this video, and I think it's important. I agree that a huge part of Vegas's decline is coming from middle-class consumers thinking it's too expensive. 100%. We said that forever. But I also think that part of it is the democratization of gambling. That makes it sound nicer than it is. The addiction of gambling on every aspect of our lives. Like, I do think that if you can gamble anywhere and everywhere, it does reduce the appeal of going to Vegas, or it makes Vegas not a special place. I think that is a big part of it. Because I think the middle-class consumer that might have gone to Vegas to, like, bet on sports, or like, they're just doing that anywhere. And then why would they? And I think that's probably a bigger chunk of it than I originally thought when I made the Vegas video last year.
I mean, what's that do to fun?
Yeah, poor people are much more fun than rich people.
The locals, they're still doing their thing. You can go downtown, you don't have the fees that you have on the strip.
Once you start going out of it, then you start seeing that it's real people like you and me. Yeah. Doing the day-to-day, whatever the job is, they do whatever they can to survive. That's the thing right now. I got to put my head down and just keep doing the work, keep doing the work, keep doing the work. And then hopefully eventually this gets better. And
You're telling me that poor people are more fun than being in the Las Vegas sphere and watching the Backstreet Boys for $480? That's what you're telling me? A likely story. A fucking likely story, bro.
Gets better. And things go back to where they were.
Anyway, interesting video. Interesting video. Thanks for making it. More Perfect Union. The Dow right now is over 50,000. How to quintuple your GDP in 5 years?
This is a real.
Oh, I did want to watch this. Hoser had a video about Guyana. Guyana? How do you say Guyana's name? Guyana. How do you say their name? How do I pronounce it? Guyana? Maybe he'll say it, but he'll have an accent, so I won't like it. Take me to church. Because I've seen this graph. I actually talked about this. Wait, didn't I do a segment on this? Did I do a clip or something? I was talking about how Maduro wanted to invade Guyana for the oil. I talked about this. Yeah, 100%. Because it's gotten insane. It's gotten, like, overnight, the oil fields in this country have gotten,
This is a real graph. It shows Guyana's per capita
Okay, there it is.
production from 1960 to 2025. From its start until 2019, it was pretty respectable growth, nearly tripling. But then in 2020, it absolutely exploded. Pure hockey stick growth. Guyana has been by far the fastest growing economy of the 2020s, going from producing around $6,000 a person in 2019 to $34,000 just 6 years later. That's from lower than Peru's to higher than Spain's,
it's oil.
reaching growth rates of up to 44% a year. Now, they're technically the richest people in South America. And I'll just tell you right now, this growth is entirely because they struck it rich and found oil.
Yeah.
In 2015, the Stabroek field off its coast was found to hold around 11 billion barrels of not just oil, but highly profitable oil of the best quality, light and sweet.
Light, sweet crude, baby. God, it just tastes better. The thing is about light, sweet crude is that it just fucking hits different, bro. It's just like, it's like refreshing. Instead of that heavy crude, that just like weighs you down. It's hard to refine. That Venezuela shit, no, you get that light, sweet crude right next door.
Just doing some rough math, that's at least $600 billion of oil given current prices, or around 120 times their pre-oil GDP.
Guyana needs some freedom, USA. Well, the thing is, and this is what I talked about, is Guyana already has ExxonMobil and Chevron. All the companies are there. They're printing. They don't need it. There's not going to be a freedom. They're already making money hand over fist. But I mean, there's two directions you can take this, bro. I mean, listen, I understand there's an ideal world. There's an ideal world where Guyana has its own Exxon and Chevron doing everything. But at some point, you need someone to come in with the tech and the expertise. And it just depends on the split, really. I think they have a good split. I would love that he talks about their split. Because there's countries that have splits that it's win-win. The problem really with this is you get like, it depends on how good your leadership is. I don't know much about Guyana's leadership. Because if you have a good leadership, the smart thing to do historically is you negotiate the best split you can. 50-50, 60-40, whatever you can, okay? You get a split. You take that money, you invest it all in like actual smart diversification in public services. You try to fucking improve your country and diversify away from oil. The more realistic thing is that you siphon it off for your corrupt leaders. You spend a little bit on like public services to keep people from getting super angry, but it's mostly, and then you spend a lot of it on military tech to crack down. That's what most countries that get this kind of wealth do. They just get real corrupt with it. And then you can try to do what Venezuela did later and like, all right, well, we want the whole pie, so we're going to seize these oil fields from Exxon and Chevron. But the problem is if you don't have the expertise, they fall apart. They fucking collapse. The oil output of Venezuela went from like 3 million barrels per day to 1 million over that time period because everything fucking fell apart. So there's a lot to do here. I think there's a smart way to do it. It's obviously better than not having resources, I guess, but you heard of the thing called the Dutch disease? What was the original Dutch disease? What was the product? I just know the economic term. Dutch disease is the idea that you get some product that is so overwhelmingly profitable that it crowds out everything else. I think it was natural gas for the Dutch, but so like it becomes like everything else in Guyana will probably become uninvestable other than oil because everybody just focuses on the oil, and it actually cripples you because you lose every other industry.
In fact, if production goes as planned, Guyana will produce the highest amount of oil per person at over 1 barrel
like a resource
per person
curse.
a day, owing to their relatively small population of only around 800,000 people. For reference, Saudi Arabia only produces around 1/3 of a barrel a person a day. So even if the amount of oil is relatively smaller, not even making up the top 10 by proven reserves, it's going to go a lot further than these larger countries.
Yeah.
Now, the Guyanese political and economic scene has been absolutely dominated by this new cash. The main question?
Yeah,
what
what
do
to
you
do
do
with
with
it?
it?
Yeah,
Luckily
interesting.
for them, there's now been a century of petrostates to model the economy
this is awesome.
after. The goal for many Guyanese people, as argued at the highest level of government, is the Norwegian model.
Okay.
Norway also produces oil off of it.
No, I swear to God, no pre-watch, and I'm actually super fascinated to hear this. It's like a video that I would love to see right after that conversation we just had. Because I'm speaking kind of riffing off of what I know from different petrostates, but I haven't deeply researched it, and I would like to know the different models and what they tried. Because I do think, like, dollars to donuts, it's better to find great resources in your country, of course. But so many countries have mismanaged it that it's like, it's like almost dangerous. It's like, it could be like the worst thing ever. It could really ruin your country. So it's like, if they're thinking about it in a smart way, that's really cool.
Coast. But instead of immediately spending that money, starting in the 1990s, chose to save a good
it's like winning the
portion of
lottery.
it
It's
to
exactly
invest into a large government-led fund. That fund is now worth over $2 trillion, or
Sheesh.
over $350,000 a Norwegian. It's also one which is transparent, with strict oversights to depositing and spending rules, with maybe the biggest being that no more than 3% of it can be spent in a year. That's the goal. Guyana has, in fact, set up their own natural resource fund. Now,
I will say the whole fucking Norwegian sovereign wealth fund is like dumped into U.S. tech stocks. So, so if there was ever a correction in U.S. tech stocks, I swear to God, Norway would be kicking themselves.
Worth at least $3.5 billion, or $4,000 a person. Not bad at all for a country just starting out. But Guyana is not Norway. They've had a long history of corruption, ethnic division, violence, and sit in a politically unstable region. A region that...
Hey, man, a cookie? Did you make these?
I baked them, but I bought the dough.
That's awesome.
Like,
Thank
try it. It's
you.
really good.
Well, Ludwig keeps calling me fat, so I should probably can't eat a cookie on the stream or he's going to make fun of me.
Worth it.
Oh, that's very good. That's a good cookie. You just made a face. She made crazy eyes face.
Like, stupid good.
Damn, that's a hella good cookie.
Like, I think you're getting it.
Baby, you're fucking up the year of health. I'm going to be fat.
One cookie.
Did you see? Look at this. Ludwig and I are just texting scales back and forth with each other.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but like
You guys
he's
are
at
different heights, you're different
179.1
muscle composition.
and I'm 179.2.
So it doesn't mean anything. It literally
So I need to get
doesn't.
underneath his weight so I can call him fat.
Why? Like, you could have more muscle, you know?
I do have more muscle. He's scrawny.
Then it's,
Okay.
you should.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, babe. He's scrawny fat. Yeah, exactly. Damn, that's good. That's fucking tasty. Is Lud taller or shorter? Ludwig is 4'8" in clogs. Speaking of the Netherlands, so
that actually has two clear examples of how oil and gas revenue can make a country poorer and a more violent place to live, rather than inevitably bringing riches to its people. The next decade will be critical to avoid the fates of Trinidad and Venezuela. How can it use the money to bring positive change to its people? While the country depends on foreign oil companies today to extract the Stabroek, back in the day, it was foreign sugar companies they depended on. The biggest was Booker McConnell, which at one point owned around 85% of Guyanese plantations.
That's
this
wild.
one British company making up a third of
That's
the
crazy.
country's production. So the economic history of the country has always been centered
like the
around
banana
cash
cartels.
crops, going from sugar to gold to oil with some bauxite mixed in.
Holy fuck,
dependent
gold?
on dealing with and not pissing off British and American companies. Under its Dutch rule, it was a typical slave-based plantation economy until the British took over in the early 1800s, legally banning slavery. But, you know, cheap labor is cheap labor, and for another century they shipped in indentured laborers to work in the grueling sugar plantations. Most of them came from India, giving Guyana the ethnic split that
Banning
still
slavery,
exists
but-
to this day. About 30% of Guyana's population is of African descent, while around 40% is of Indian descent.
It's like banning credit cards but allowing buy now, pay later. It's like you're just skirting it in name only, bro.
This division has manifested in some cases to large-scale violence, but more as a preferential treatment and resource allocation when one group is in power. I don't want to sound too reductive, but in general, the People's Progressive Party / Civic gets most of its support from Indo-Guyanese people, while the People's National Congress / APNU gets theirs from the Afro-Guyanese community.
Okay.
Then some other parties pop up as broad coalitionist rainbow parties. Because of the larger Indian population, though, and this guy, the PPP is generally the party in charge, winning every free election the country has had except one. He, by the way, was Forbes Burnham, Guyana's independence leader. Although the party was led by Cheddi Jagan during the colonial era, British troops had kicked him out of power for fear that he was too radically Marxist.
Okay.
Instead, they wanted Forbes, the British-educated lawyer with CIA ties, to be in charge.
Okay.
He'd be a little more conducive to investment, they thought. But they were wrong. Forbes Burnham actually ran an administration incredibly hostile to foreign money, ironically making Guyana one of the most socialist countries at the time. He declared the country a cooperative republic.
Okay.
Folks, we call them the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. During his rule, he ran many sham elections which were rigged in his favor, used violence to put down protests against his discriminatory policies towards the Indo-Guyanese community, favored his own loyalists with lucrative jobs and projects, and through nationalization efforts, his government ended up running 80% of Guyana's production.
Cool.
Everything from distribution to export marketing, and yes, the mines and the sugar plantations as well. A sign of his great economic and political prowess were his import bans. Because sugar and bauxite prices fell during his rule, the government lost the ability to be able to purchase things from overseas.
Okay.
Instead of, devaluing the currency, their best solution was to ban the import of things like flour, potatoes, split peas, that sort of thing. Things popular in Indian cooking.
Okay.
It also played into his idea of self-sufficiency. Guyanese farmers would pick up the slack by producing plantains and rice.
Oh, great.
They didn't, and many faced starvation.
Well.
His rule saw a decline in rice production, bauxite production, sugar production, anything to eat or make money with really, and political persecution. As a result, many packed their bags and left, contributing to Guyana being the country with the highest percentage of immigrants on Earth. Roughly 40% of people born there have left. Which now makes Liberty Avenue, Little Guyana, the best place in America for street interviews. After Forbes Burnham died, voters gave the PPP a near uninterrupted streak of victories. Meanwhile, the newly nationalized sugar company, Guysuco, systematically failed, one by one rusting out sugar plantations, laying off more and more workers.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking
until
about.
The country finally found oil. A classic joke back in the colonial era was that BG didn't stand for British Guyana, but Booker's Guyana. Funny, right? Now they're calling it EG, Exxon's Guyana. Wow, ExxonMobil only owns the biggest share of Stabroek, being the ones to originally find its profitability. Then Chevron owns some, then the Chinese National Overseas Oil Company.
Oh, China's in there.
Its importance can be seen by the fact that Chevron only bought into Guyana in 2025, purchasing Hess's share for $53 billion.
Sheesh!
The world's largest private oil...
Wait, this must be some fucking sweet crude. Damn, they paid $53 billion for a little chunk? Damn, bro. This thing must be the fucking... They must have... This got a deep well of that good shit.
Company now expects the Guyanese field to be its most profitable asset by 2030.
Wow.
In part, it's just because it's good oil, relatively clean and cheap to extract. But the other is...
Holy shit.
Relatively clean and cheap.
If it's profitable at $30 a barrel to extract, that's pretty good. That means it's relatively cheap to extract. Oil today is like $70 a barrel. So that's fucking That's all juice. That's crazy. That's all profit, bro. You're fucking banking it. Like most other places would be 40, 50, 60 plus. I feel like I think I saw a number for Venezuela too right now when they're trying to get the fucking heavy crude. I feel like the extraction cost is so high they can't even bring it out profitably at current oil prices. I think like at $60 a barrel or whatever was the time, it was not profitable to get the oil out of Venezuela and refine it.
To extract. But the other is that
Fracking isn't profitable in 55. Yeah, I know that fracking, but the thing about fracking, I don't know why this is. I need to look into it more. But when fracking first started to get big in America, OPEC deliberately cut their production. I'm sorry, deliberately flooded production to bring down the price of oil to try and kill fracking. They thought they would shut down all the fracking companies because they couldn't sell it profitably. But they just didn't die. They just kept doing it. Maybe it was a strategic thing. Maybe government stepped in. I don't know why fracking in America didn't die during this, but they just kept fracking, and then America became the largest oil output.
they've gotten a great deal with the Guyanese government.
It could have been
the
subsidies,
profit-sharing agreement signed in 2016 is one of the most generous to foreign companies on earth.
Oh, yeah?
Even some conservative IMF economists have argued the Guyanese government is not getting its fair share out of it. The companies get all the profit until their cost is recovered, then 50% of the profit, and only give Guyana a 2% royalty. Meaning for a $60 barrel of oil, Guyana could expect to keep around $8.60. They did add a 10% royalty to develop.
This is Mr. Wonderful deal from Shark Tank. This is a Mr. Wonderful deal. They're getting royalties.
New blocks, but not for the most profitable Stabroek block. Why do they give so much of it away? 1. It was signed in 2016 before the true amount of oil was known to anyone, and they just needed a kickstart into investment after years of stagnation. 2. The memory of Forbes Burnham's nationalizations still runs deep in the country. But 3. My personal guess as to why they didn't renegotiate this offer is that government officials do not need to look far at all to see how oil can ruin a country. Its next-door neighbor, Venezuela, has descended into hyperinflation, economic crisis, and borderline state collapse because of their massive oil reserves. And Trinidad and Tobago, well, they're doing more or less fine, but have seen a huge rise in corruption and violence as a result of their own gas boom. Trinidad and Tobago is the country most similar to Guyana, which can make it quite scary to follow in their footsteps. Like Guyana, the legacy of both slavery and indentured labor lives on, with Trinis of African and Indian descent making up roughly equal parts of the population. The country struggles with a similar favoritism and corruption as a result, organized under respective political parties, the PNM and the UNC.
The UNC!
And both have transitioned from a failed sugar-based economy to a fossil fuel-based one. Its recent history is also a very textbook example of the resource curse.
Yeah.
From 2000 to about 2007, you can see a very Guyana-style boom in their economic output, then stagnation and even decline in the years since.
Okay.
While they had oil before, making up around 40% of the British Empire's output in the 30s, it wasn't until the liberal reforms of the
40% of the British Empire's oil output came from this little island? That's fucking crazy.
1990s that gas blew up, contributing to around 80% of their exports. Even more when you consider their large petrochemical industry. The gas boom brought free education, airports, highways, and subsidized electricity, gas, and water. You'd think it would make everyone happy and carefree. In 2011, it was even given high income status by the World Bank.
Holy.
But in the same year, Prime Minister Prasad Bisesar declared a state of emergency due to the rising crime and the emerging drug trade in the islands. Another was declared in 2025, but this time in the context of shrinking output and declining gas and chemical production.
Okay.
Their only oil refinery shut down in 2018
Kamala.
because of falling output and mismanagement by the National Petrotrin Company. And now the country is left with the 7th worst crime rate on earth and a hollowed out
Well, that's not
rest
good.
of the economy. Parts of its capital, Port of Spain, like Cocorite and Beetam, have been taken over by gangs. Power and water failures are common in the outskirts. Agriculture dried up with the failure of sugar and cocoa. Subsidies have been largely cut back. And tourism, outside of Carnival season, is very underwhelming for a lovely Caribbean destination.
Sad.
All they have is gas. Classic Dutch disease.
Yeah.
But that's nothing compared to the country with the worst crime rate, just to its south.
Big V.
Venezuela's oil-based economy was always ailing, but it collapsed under the Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro governments. The oil was a perfect gift for Chavez, who promised to use it to fund his utopian vision of the country. And in 2007, he seized ExxonMobil's and ConocoPhillips' assets to monopolize oil production under his government. Long story short,
Chavez is what Lud thinks Atrioc looks like. Just call me fat, bro. Just skip the middleman.
corrupt officials drained their fund dry, and Venezuela splurged on social and redistributive programs during oil's boom years. When Venezuelan oil workers went on strikes, crashing production, and oil's price collapsed, so did its abilities to pay for them. The state oil company, the PDVSA, is also filled with corrupt party loyalists without much technical expertise, while they're also subject to American sanctions. Basically, Venezuela does not produce nearly as much oil as they could. Instead of cutting back the programs, though,
Yeah, I mean, prior to all this, Venezuela was putting out the amount of barrels per day, like equivalent to Canada. And then after all this, it's like Canada, I think, tripled and Venezuela 1/3. So now they're like a ninth of what they probably could be with modern tech.
Government chose to print more money, leading to one of the worst hyperinflations in modern history. Now, for the last 2 decades or so, Venezuela has struggled with hunger, state collapse, and mass emigration, while strong men tried to rally and hype up the population
Damn, he
to
can't dance, though.
keep themselves in charge.
He can dance.
One of these rallying tactics was a push against a natural enemy of the Venezuelan people, Guyana. That's right, the Maduro government claimed this chunk of Guyana, all the land to the Essequibo River, leaving what would only be a thin strip behind. That's 2/3 of Guyanese land. This is a dispute that actually dates back 200 years. When Britain amalgamated these 3 Dutch colonies into one, Venezuela claimed Essequibo as theirs. It was finally mediated by an American-led team in 1899, who ruled it to be British/Guyanese territory. Venezuela initially
Didn't they used to call it
accepted
British
this.
Guyana?
However, as those in Caracas have turned from some of the most pro-American on the continent to some of the least, they've become more emboldened to push back against this ruling. And I think maybe, just maybe, in the modern version of this dispute, Maduro might have liked the extra oil production, as he also claimed the waters outside of
This was
Essequibo
100%
as
the reason.
his.
Whatever that reason is, it was 100% Maduro wanted to fund Venezuela with this oil. 100%. That was the reason. That was he started talking about it the second they discovered it here and started. It wasn't like it wasn't even a thing until
When Guyana initially allowed U.S. companies to look for oil, Venezuela cut them off of its Petrocaribe program, which shipped subsidized oil across the Caribbean. Then, in the December of 2023, a referendum was held to ask the Venezuelan public if they wanted to annex this land. 98% said yes, a resounding victory. They appointed a governor for their new state of Guyana Essequibo in a sham election, held military parades and drills near the border, showing off maps of their official territory, even positioning near the border, showing off.
This is some Trump shit. This is some Trump shit, bro. Just make a fake map showing. Just fucking pretend.
Maps of their official territory, even positioning Iranian-built missiles on the water outside of Guyana and a warship off of Exxon's oil tanker. It really looked like for a couple of years, Venezuela was about to strike Guyana any day now, and subsequently be beaten back by Brazil, the UK, and obviously America. But none of that happened. I don't know if you saw the news, but they got Maduro. Yes, after months of American strikes on Venezuelan ships for fear of narcotics smuggling, they finally struck the capital. American forces seized the leader of Venezuela.
Look at that animation.
Flew him
Holy
off
fuck.
to New York City. Just like that.
Holy fuck.
I think, besides wanting to look cool and make some AI art about it,
And now, if you don't know, now you know.
there were three main political objectives of this scoop job. One is obviously oil.
The United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil on December 10th.
We're going to keep it. We're keeping.
Venezuela seized American oil assets through Chavez's nationalizations as well as some decades ago, and the Trump administration wanted to recoup it. Two was to weaken the Communist Party in Cuba, which relies on subsidized Venezuelan
That was a
oil
big part
to
of it
keep
for
living
Rubio
conditions
especially.
up. But three, an overlooked aspect is that Guyana is now going to be a strong American ally in the region, and American businesses may not be too keen to invest in the region if Maduro is constantly yelling about an invasion.
Right.
Guyana will be the crown jewel in ExxonMobil's and Chevron's collections in the 2030s. They'd probably like some reassurance that their oil rigs won't be hit by a Venezuelan missile anytime soon. And the American administration happened to be one very open to the idea of big business-backed imperialism in the late 2020s to keep that assurance. So after that mess, Guyana's question is, how do you avoid the fate of Venezuela? Yes, oil brings billions of dollars, but it also brings corruption, rent-seeking, economic weakness, and violence.
Yeah.
The route Guyana is almost certainly going to go is to try to replicate Norway's government pension fund. That requires a whole host of financial measures, inclusivism, and constant upkeep. Any sort of opaqueness or corrupt politics could derail the whole thing, as in Venezuela.
Yeah.
When Guyana actually has the money, though, should it go the Alaska route of directly paying its citizens and letting them choose how to spend their money, or the Dubai route where those in charge build grand projects in
Definitely
hopes
not
of
the fucking
trickling
Dubai
down
route.
prosperity? As in infrastructure.
Wait. Isn't the Norwegian model neither of those? It's they put it into a wealth fund and they can use a small percentage of it each year for like public works or whatever. It's like, isn't that why would you could give it to them directly. I think that would be a better option than this. But, giving to them directly has other problems because then it becomes cost effective for people to not, start a sugar plant or whatever. Anything that would be a good development strategy becomes under the cost line because of the free money they're getting from oil. That's not infinite. So you really, I don't know.
Structurally challenged country, most people recommend the latter option. Now, new schools, hospitals, and gyms are popping up among the wooden houses of the capital, Georgetown. New ports, dams, and highways connect the country to its interior and the rest of the world. The
problem with this is that you give all this money to some bureaucrat and tell them, decide what thing we should build to be ready for the future. And because they are human and biased and small, they build the wrong thing. They waste the money. It's either super corrupt or they just build shit that like is cool to cut the ribbon on, but it's never the smart thing. Dubai has this, or they steal it. Yeah, so Wendy's not a bad idea, though. Wendy's not a bad idea. Everybody loves a Wendy's.
Starbucks and Wendy's opened up in 2025. Very important to have those. The floating Demerara Bridge was replaced with a grand permanent bridge in late 2025, and the country is building a $2 billion gas pipeline to hopefully cut electricity costs in half.
That's a good idea.
To diversify its economy by lowering its manufacturing.
That's a really good idea because all this oil production produces a ton of natural gas naturally. It's just a natural byproduct of the pumping process. And if you could power your electricity on that for cheaper, actually a really smart idea.
Manufacturing costs. But perhaps the most important things to build are its flood protections. Because the country was built by the Dutch, it wasn't actually a country, but a sea that had to be drained, usually by the backbreaking labor of the slaves they shipped in. Most of the sugar plantations were built on land.
What if, and this is just a big what if they destroy the oil production, destroy the natural gas, destroy the sugar, and go all in on clean coal? What if they go 100% in on clean coal? I don't know if they have a lot of coal mines there, but they should find them. And because I think that's a future forward industry. I think that way they're not only building for the future, but they're environmentally sound. Beautiful, clean coal.
And which was maintained by dams.
Or go the Saudi route and buy teen boy shit as investments. That was the example I was saying earlier. I just wasn't labeling them specifically. Like you can buy soccer teams and a bunch of stupid bullshit, like at way overpriced valuations that you're going to lose money on, invent the idea of the line, host an esports tournament, all this shit like you lose money on and pretend like you're diversifying, but you're not actually doing it. They should hold WrestleMania in Guyana.
Trenches and dikes to create its typical landscape. Ocean, seawall, farms.
I mean, if you're studying other countries and what they did right, you got to have Mr. Beast World right here. Get rid of the farms. Food is not as important as entertainment. And let's get Mr. Beast World West. Okay? So that you have in different hemispheres. People from all over the world can either go to Saudi Arabia or they can go here.
As a result, about 90% of the population lives at least 2 feet below sea level, making floods particularly damaging. Anytime it rains too much, Georgetown's gonna flood. Speaking of floods, after a tailing dam collapsed in 1995, releasing 1.5 million tons of cyanide-laced water through the Essequibo River, people started to think environmental protections may be more important than corporate rights. Guyana is now one of the least deforested countries on Earth.
That's hype.
Under their low-carbon development strategy, they've even secured $250 million from Norway to keep its forests standing.
Okay.
It's ironic considering that this is now the world's newest petrostate, one which is quite hostile to any sort of foreign production limitations on oil.
Does that give you the right to release all of this carbon?
Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I am going to lecture you on climate change because we have kept this forest alive that stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon that you enjoy, that the world enjoy, that you don't pay us for.
In the last election in 2025...
Technically, Norway did pay you for it. I like that he's talking his shit, but you did get a $250 million from Norway.
The first one in the context of this new economy, the PPP saw its biggest win ever. Most Guyanese people may seem willing to bend the rules a little on its environmental protections to keep this breakneck growth.
Sure,
that means leaving behind the past and forging itself into a brand new country. If you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe?
I did enjoy it. Check it out. Hoser, check it out. I thought it was a good video. Yeah, pretty interesting, pretty balanced. It's a tough choice. I think, dollars to donuts. I would fucking, in their position, try to renegotiate the deal, get a slightly better split, and start with the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund. I mean, you have to it's tough. Every step of the way is hard. That's just being human, bro. Every step of the way, you got to fight corruption. Chat, thank you for watching today. That was fun. I enjoyed all of our discussions. I will see you I will be live tomorrow. Normally I don't stream on Tuesdays because we record the pod. but we're recording early because of a guest. I will be live at 6 p.m. Pacific to watch the State of the Union. Donald J. Trump is going to tell us the State of the Union. Where are we at in this country? Class on tomorrow, possibly after the State of the Union. I might also be dead exhausted though, so maybe I'll do it on Wednesday. Dow 50K. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm really hoping he mentions, someone make a bingo for tomorrow. I wanted to see if he mentions Joe Biden, 8 wars. Well, I'll tell by tomorrow. There's a lot. So anyway, thanks for watching. Tomorrow, we'll see you for the State of the Union live. Goodbye, good luck, Godspeed.